You ready for a real story? Let's kick back. Bring it.
Okay, kick back. Real story, real people. And with today's guest is no exception. He has been depositing and making withdrawals in his own personal vault, like we all have. And we're coming to you from an actual bank vault. As we talked about, we are a podcast in an actual bank vault. And this gentleman here, let me tell you, he has 1,200 patents. Just start with that. 1,200 patents. He is the CEO of Infortum. He's also the chairman of Island City Media, which is the largest media and marketing group in the USA. He has also been the man behind most of the products you see out there. Ninja Kitchen Systems with the Ninja Blender, the Bullet. He's also been responsible for the George Foreman Grill, Snuggie, Shamwow. Man, I can't name them all. But let me tell you right now, this is the man behind the scenes on those products being brought to you. And he spent 5 seasons with Shark Tank and working with products there and those guests that appear on that show, and he decides on what products are going to be worth investing in and which ones are not. So there's a quote that I like to share with you that I really enjoy reading over and over, is that every product starts as a problem and every company starts as an idea. Every opportunity starts with something most people overlook. Wouldn't you say that?
100%.
I mean, Eddie, I've listed a few accomplishments. I'm sure I got some things wrong in there. There's a ton of stuff to remember about you. And I also didn't mention all the stuff you did with FinTech, Health Tech, leading up to the Complete card.
Yeah, Complete card.
Complete card and the app.
Yeah.
Which you got to share and show me that card last time you and I got together. So let's start with the whole thing with inventions. I mean, everybody's got an idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had people approach you and say, hey, can you come up with a product for me?
Every day. I mean, when I met you at Bobby Khan's event, 3 people were like, oh, I have an idea. Everyone always has an idea. Once they find out, or once I introduce myself and tell you what I've done, everyone always tells me about their idea, which I love. I love hearing it, and I can give them in 30 seconds if it's good, bad, or indifferent. You know?
Wow.
So it's marketable. So I have I don't know where it comes from. I never went to college. You know, I have a high school diploma. You know, I tell people I don't have a degree. I wear a degree, you know. So,
right.
And I just have a talent because as a consumer, we're all consumers. I look at it and
True.
say, can I make this? Can I sell it? And would anybody buy this?
Right.
So I start with the basic. You know, I don't build this whole big, you know, I'm not smart enough to build, you know, this whole structure that says, oh, I'm going to force people to buy this. You know, like Steve Jobs. I love Apple. You know, he built things because 1, he was Steve Jobs. 2, he had the money behind him and a namesake. I never wanted to be famous. I think fame is a drug that you lose your humanity. You lose your humbleness.
I can agree with that.
I know a lot of famous people and they're miserable. You know, I can't have dinner with them.
And people don't realize that. They think that just because they're celebrities and they're smiling all the time in front of the cameras, they're not really that happy and they're not really that wealthy.
No.
Most of them are broke.
Yeah, a lot of them are broke because I always have to pay for lunch, dinner, or whatever, you know, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, that's the price of access, you know, but, you know, and I love my friends. You know, I won't name who's broke or who's not.
Right,
but,
yeah, of course not.
You know, my whole thing is I know the situations, you know, because during the scamdemic, you know, we all lived through, and I call it a scamdemic.
I agree with you on that.
That's what it was. Some people call it a pandemic, and I don't think it was a pandemic because they didn't plan it until they realized they can scam us, you know?
Right.
And then they ran with it, and it worked. I mean, it was a human test to the world that they can control us. And I never got the shot. You know, it's not because I'm a conservative. I think for myself, you know, because I build products for a living. I've never built pharmaceutical grade products, but I realized, I mean, it took 25 years to make the aspirin. So don't fucking tell me that, you know, you can make a vaccine in 90 days.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. What is this?
Yeah, what is that? Where's the testing?
Let me see you put it in first. You know, and then, you know, all the politicians that got the shot on TV, I don't know what's in that vial. Like, I don't know what's in that, so I don't believe you. You know, and I always question authority. You know, not in a bad way.
No, of course not. You know, I mean, a common sense way.
Yeah, just
ask the right questions.
I'm here to ask questions. We should ask questions. You know, so I mean, I love what I do, and to back up a little bit, I started my career in product development making sex toys for women as an openly gay guy.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. As an openly gay guy, you know, I asked a lot of questions because I've never been with a woman. My thing was, what makes you feel good? Why? Blah, blah, blah. I talked to doctors, psychiatrists, OGBYNs, lady doctors. I mean, because I want to know, ask my friends who are female, what is it? you know. And so, I mean, I work with porn stars. So I made a lot of products, which got me really good at it because I was never shy to ask questions. I think that's what makes me a good product guy, because why are we building this? What is it for? Who is it for? Why do we need it? So I answer all those questions for myself first as a consumer.
Right.
And then I look at it going, how do I get someone like myself with disposable income who doesn't need to buy your bullshit, how to take out their credit card, to take a passive consumer to make them active? What can I say? And I say this, and I think I told you, I don't sell products, I sell stories.
You do.
You know,
Yeah,
because you got to sell the story to get the person to get up and like, oh my God, I think I need that. You know?
And that's right. And now, how old were you when you started out doing the products, like you said, the sex toys and so forth? How old were you at that time?
1920.
1920.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all that, you started getting involved in patenting.
Yeah. So,
right.
Correct what you said. I've worked on 1,200 patents. I don't have 1,200 patents. So I think I have 7 or 8, which are very strong for my fintech products and my health tech products. I just started writing my own patents for myself because I'm building something that I believe will be the next Internet of Things, next Meta, the next big thing. Because I think I said this to you when we first met. If people went back to Bezos, Zuckerberg, and even Elon, did you know what you were building before you built it? And if they were honest, they will say, no, absolutely not. They had an idea, a vision. You know, Zuckerberg said he built Facebook to meet girls on campus. You know, that's historic.
Exactly. Yeah, that was his story. Yeah.
And when he's got his Russian investors and everybody else to come on board, you know, he built a team around him that we all need. But he didn't know his EBITDA, his P&Ls, his ROIs. He didn't know any of that stuff. Right. You know, he probably didn't even know what those stood for because he was 19 years old. And I applaud him.
Sure.
You know, because he ran with him. Look at it now. It's one of the biggest companies in the world. He's one of the 5th wealthiest people in the world. And, you know, now he runs his company the way he wants to run it. Now he has control of it 100%. Me, if you ask me, do I know what I'm building for Infortum? 100%. I wrote the business plans. I did the P&Ls, the EBITDAs, all the financial forecasting because I've done it 168 times before. I built ideas from zero, and for 36 years, it's educated me to get to my own company. And the past is the past, and I love it. It built me, you know. And
it's made you who you are.
Yeah. And I say the person that was in the 90s, the Eddy Pham of the 90s, I would not have been friends with him. I would not have been because he was only money driven.
Right.
You know.
Which happens to a lot of young people. They start out young, and I've talked to a number of guests like that where, the money starts coming in, and then you then get motivated by the money, but you're not motivated by the ideas and the philosophy of what you're doing. Yeah. And do you agree that if that's the case, when people get excited with money when they're young, if they don't shed that feeling when they get older, they lose money quicker?
100%. Yeah, because they don't have a relationship with it.
There you
go.
So
I had great parents. I have a great relationship with money. Like,
I believe your dad was your mentor.
Yeah, my dad, my mom. My mom was an entrepreneur herself. She had restaurants.
Right.
So, I mean, nothing is harder than building a restaurant in America.
No, it's the biggest failure rate.
Yeah, it's biggest failure rate.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We didn't have anything fancy. We just had comforting food. So, like, I have friends who have built multi-million-dollar restaurants, $100,000 chandeliers, this, that, and the other. And I say to them, I'm like, how does that give you a return? You know, just focus on the food. People will come.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful in here, but people that eat out of the white linen restaurants only do it every other week, once a month, or an occasion. It's not an every day. Build a restaurant that people want to eat at 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, and even the food. I mean, I've eaten at some of those restaurants, and regardless of the way they look, which they are impeccable.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's face it. But the food, if it doesn't match the decor, you've lost me. Yeah. And there's a number of ones I've eaten at in LA, I've eaten at in New York, and I can tell you they lost me. Yeah. Because someone like you and I, if we go into those places and you lose me the first time, you're not going to get a second chance.
Yeah, you're not. And
because we spend a lot of money.
If I leave and I'm still hungry and I got to go to In-N-Out to get full,
exactly.
I'm not happy.
Yeah. I mean, if you make a steak that doesn't taste like I'm eating in a place where I'm spending that kind of money on a steak, I don't need that steak in this particular environment.
Yeah.
And so I see a lot of restaurants, they don't make it that way.
Yeah,
they try to live off a name.
I generally love eating at mom and pop shops. And I don't just say that, I live it.
I agree with you 100%.
You know, I mean,
I'm
not saying that the corporations don't need our money or they have insurance policies. They have everything.
But the heart is in the food.
100%.
In the mom and pops.
And I, you know, like when you get an elderly Asian woman cooking your Vietnamese food, it tastes like Vietnam. Yeah. I'm Vietnamese. I'm half Vietnamese. So I was born in Vietnam, you know, and I'll get back up some more. I came here when I was 7 years old. You know, I am 100% American. I love this country because it gave me every opportunity that it gives everyone else if you take it.
Yeah, you have the freedom to do it.
Yeah, I mean, my
You have
dad,
the choices to make.
embedded in me that, this is the greatest country in the world. I had won a essay contest when Reagan was in office. I came in second place. So I always say I was the first loser.
Yeah.
And it was about freedom. And I can honestly tell you that, it was a class thing. So we had to write about freedom. And I just wrote about coming from Vietnam to here. And, I just told my story. And how I came in second place, I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember the essay that I wrote. I just remember.
You didn't save it?
I probably have it somewhere, And it's just one of those things that I came in second place. I won a $5,000 money bond. I'm a treasure bond.
The old treasury bonds. Yeah.
I won a bicycle, and then all these gifts that came from local sponsors and stuff. I was in Ansonia, Connecticut, a small little town in the valley in Connecticut. That's where I grew up. And
I lived in Greenwich.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
That's where my mother is still right now.
20 minutes away.
Yeah. So absolutely. I didn't know that about you. I didn't know about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going out there this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll be out in Greenwich.
I was supposed to be there last week, but I was in Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah. So my mom still lives in Greenwich.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I grew up there, and it was it afforded me to meet and know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And growing up in an environment like you had. So yeah.
I mean, Ansonia was not Greenwich. Two different neighborhoods.
No, it was. It is. And I've been to Ansonia. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But the whole state really is pretty.
Yeah.
Even some of the worst areas.
Yeah.
I mean, Bridgeport.
Bridgeport.
I mean, Stanford turned around big time. Yeah. But even those places still have their beauty to them. I mean,
I love Connecticut. I love New England.
Yeah, New England.
I mean, after I think I was 14 or 13 when we moved from New Haven to Maine. So I went from Maine, finished high school, started my businesses. I stayed until I was 35, and then I came to California. Wow. My mom passed away when I was 35. I had nothing holding me back, and I was like, I just got into my vehicle and drove.
That was it, huh?
I mean, California was not my destination. It's just I couldn't drive any further. I love driving. I love seeing this country.
Yeah.
And it took me months to get from across the country because I stopped at every KOA, Campsites of America. I love meeting people who just love this country.
And you do. You love meeting people because when I first met you, you'll go up and talk to anybody.
Yeah, I'll talk to a wall.
You will. I mean, you do. You make yourself so accessible. Yeah. But I think what you're also doing is when you talk to people, you're collecting their ideas in a way. So what makes this person feel good? What makes this person tick? What makes this person not feel so good? And I think that you take inventory on that.
Yeah.
And I think you're like, in a way, kicking the tires of the country.
Yeah.
You're kicking the tires of the country to see what everything is all about in different areas. And of course, then you use that and you come up with these ideas and these marketing ideas.
I always hear like great ideas from just a regular grandma, a regular mom, a regular whoever. I'm like, that's fantastic. You should run with that. And I tell people, I'm like, even if you have the money to make the product or make a rendering or a prototype, at least file a patent, file ownership and see. I mean, that's going to cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,500
to file a patent.
Yeah. To do it yourself. And with AI, you can do it yourself.
Is it that simple? I mean, walk us through the steps on a patent. I mean, if I were to get a patent right now and you said, Scott, go get a patent. Here's what you're going to do. What am I doing?
But first you want to just write your summary overview of what your product idea is.
Got it.
And basically ask your AI, whichever one you use, they're all great. Ask your AI to find patents that are similar to this. A nanosecond later, it'll list all the patents. And then read those patents and then ask your AI. So I use ChatGPT. I call him
That's
Justin.
what I use too.
Yeah. I call him Justin. I'm like, Justin, I'm like, when I write my patents now, I'm like, Justin, here's an overview of this new product. I want you to go out and tell me what exists today. So when it goes out and it searches, comes back and says, these are the 12 patents that could interfere with you.
Right.
Tell me how I get around them. So before, that was all manual work. Like when I started my career in the 90s, there was no fucking internet.
No, there was nothing. It was barely a thought at that time. Yeah.
Dialing, cold calling.
Everything was paper.
Everything was get on a plane, go to China. I think that's what made me successful because I was always willing to say yes,
Right.
And the George Foreman Grill, how they came around was it was an RFP, request for quote,
right.
And a proposal. And I looked at it and go, I can make this. I never made a kitchen product in my life, but I never made a dildo before either, And so I was like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And so the company that owned the George Foreman Grill in Chicago, I bidded on it and went to China and did my thing and said, you know what, we can make this better. You know, it was a slanted grill originally. There was no name to it. Didn't have any history. George Foreman's name wasn't the first. It was Hulk Hogan. Everyone can look that up.
Right, exactly.
You know,
I believe he hung up the phone on you.
Hung up the phone, and basically, funny now that Brooke Hogan is one of my dearest friends, his daughter.
Right, right.
And so we're doing a lot of business together. And so it's just, you know, there's always people tell me I should write a book because I know all the BTS behind the scenes and of all the products I worked on.
Right.
From the headaches into the, you know, successes. And everyone thinks that has never done anything, but he's so lucky that's an overnight success. No, bitch. There's no such thing.
No, there isn't. I mean, you've had your failures, right?
100%.
I mean,
and I learned from him. My learning curve is not flat, you know. So I always tell people, learn from a failure because it's not a failure. It's an education.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, and
that's your college education right there.
100% hands on.
You know,
I get beat up. You know, when a client says, what the fuck? We didn't make any money.
Right.
I'm like, well, we got to keep spending until we do. You know, we're learning. You know, that's why I test and test and test and test. Now I can call the shots. Now I am Eddy Pham and Company because now I can say, I have this history. You should listen to me.
Absolutely.
You know, because I have clients even to this day, they're like, why are we doing this? And I explain to them, well, I like the name I came up with. Well, that name's not going to work. It pigeonholes you.
Right.
You know, and I say, I'm building you a family of products, not just a product.
So do people take your suggestions or do they get very defensive about it when you tell them, hey, you need to change the name of this?
Yeah.
I mean, do they get too married to the idea of the name?
They're 50-50. They're always married to the idea because they woke up and they had an epiphany. You know?
Right. And how dare you tell me it's not going to work
100%.
or how dare you tell me the name doesn't work?
My daughter came up with this. My son came up with this.
Right.
I'm like, that's great.
That's great.
You know, that's fantastic. You know, but they're not buying the product.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I just look at it and say, basically, I have experience. You can believe it or not. You know, I know what will work or won't work because I look at it going, would I buy this? And I start with me first.
Right.
Because I have disposable income. I'm a very jaded consumer because I've made everything under the sun. So I know the true cost of things.
Right.
And like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, they're my favorite websites because it's where entrepreneurs go to launch their inventions.
Yeah.
They get crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And I love it because I look at their ideas. I'm like, that's fantastic. And if you looked up my account, I have probably backed over 100 companies or 100 brands.
Right.
You know,
right.
more than half of them failed because they never shipped me my product, you know, because they took the money and they ran or whatever the reason.
Right.
But I personally reach out to them. I email them and say, hey, this is who I am. Let me help you because I just read your update because you can't get the Chinese manufacturer to do something. Let me help you.
And you can get through those doors.
And 50-50, they'll take me, they'll at least have a phone call with me.
Now, why wouldn't they want to? I mean, knowing your background and these people don't want to pick the phone up and say, Eddy, help me with this.
Yeah.
What do you think that reason is? Why they not?
I think it's ego.
Is it ego?
I mean, we're all human beings.
Sure.
And one of the things I don't have is an ego, you know, and I don't know if that's a superpower or whatever it is.
No, you certainly don't. I mean, you come off as a very genuine,
I just try to be helpful, honestly helpful. Lately, I've just been volunteering a lot for different like kids organizations. Anything to do with entrepreneurship is my thing.
Right.
You know, because I truly believe you're in the greatest country in the world. And I know those are just words, but I live those fucking words.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely.
And I 125 clients, 168 products. You know, a lot of the clients will repeat. So I've seen people, most of them didn't have money. Most of them had to mortgage their homes or, you know, borrow money to get to me. So, cause I'm not cheap. But I don't take you on unless I think I can make money with you.
But the results are there.
Yeah.
And your track record is there. Yeah. So if they're going to get Eddy Pham, they're getting the whole package.
Yeah. They're getting me, my team, and my experience. And people are like, why do you start at $250,000? Well, that's just a start because you're paying for 36 years of experience and billions of dollars in sales. Right. So my whole thing is I helped a lot of companies design their products from the zero. I say this confident. I'm an expert from 0 to 60. What that means is you have an idea on a napkin. Let's just call it napkin inventor.
Sure, yeah.
I help you take that to the business plan, to the financial forecasting, to the renderings, to the prototypes, to the patents, and then to business. You know, when it starts making money and you're making whatever is successful to you, hundreds of thousands or millions, that's a 60 to me. Now I'm bored. So I got to find another 0 to 60 because I'm not good at 61 to 100. That's when the bigger companies come in with a better.
That's where the handoff is. You just take it.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, because I know where my strengths are. And a lot of companies don't like that 0 to 60 because they don't want to deal with the entrepreneur, with the dreamer. Right. You know, they don't want to deal with that. And I know how to deal with that because I'm that person. I'm the dreamer.
because they want that product launch already.
Yeah, they want success.
Yeah.
They want 100% success.
Right.
I don't care about 100% success, but I don't take a product that I think is a loser either. I can look at something and it's just not for me. It's not my category. It's not something I can help you with, or I just don't like you. And that's being honest. Like when I have never launched a product I didn't meet the inventor or the product owner.
Well, it's going back to when you travel the country and you're stopping everywhere, you're talking to people.
Yeah.
And you're kicking the tires of these people in a way. And it's not like every person you stop was going to ask you to help them with an idea, but you're learning about different personalities, different people, how they think. And then when someone does come up with the idea, it's like your brain is automatically comparing people and how they're responding to you and how they're asking you questions and if they're sincere or not.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, everybody wants money from somebody, especially someone like yourself who had the ability to grow products.
Yeah.
They're going to sit there and, oh, well, I can talk this Eddy Pham into this idea.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I don't like to think that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure everybody sits down with you in business, think they're going to play a chess game with you and they're going to outmove you somehow.
Yeah. I love it when everybody says, I have so much passion. And I just let them finish talking. I'm like, that's fantastic. You should have passion. It's fucking yours.
Yeah.
Passion is not measurable.
No.
I can't put that in a P&L or ROAS or anything else.
Right.
You should have passion. It's your idea. Let's move on to the real business. And I have to talk that blunt to people because I got to remove the emotion.
Right.
People are emotionally attached to their product, which is good. You should love your product.
And that goes back to my whole thing about, do people get defensive about changes on their products and names?
This is my favorite blue. This is my favorite whatever.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that blue doesn't work.
This is named after my dog that died and he was close to me.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. I love when you answer that. It's great.
So it's just, I want to help everyone that I can help.
Right.
And it's not because I want to make more money. That's not, I truly believe, I do a lot of shit for free, a lot. Like my volunteering, it costs me tens of thousands of dollars a day to volunteer. And that's money that I can go and talk to other inventors. But I'm giving, I did an organization that I actually really want to stand behind, help them find their funding, help them get sponsorship. And it's Youth Entrepreneurial Summit. Everyone should be a part of it.
And you're trying to get to the young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a whole nother generation going because I think right now with the generation that's out there, they're not thinking, in my opinion, and they're not trying to become somebody who creates something anymore. Yeah. They just want to follow something, whether it be social media. Yeah. They want to be an overnight star, overnight influencer, wherever it may be. But there's no idea creation going on. Do you see the same thing?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's why it's important someone like yourself gets to that generation before people like yourselves aren't around to do that anymore or want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think it's hard. It's so much easier now to launch a product because of AI. AI is not going to take your job unless you want it to. Yeah. AI is only going to make you better at your job. And I say that confidently. I have a Substack that I write about business and manufacturing technology.
Right.
And I just got introduced to Substack and I actually love it. My friend Ken said that we should all have a Substack if we have anything to talk about.
I've been reading up on it. I'm trying to catch up with that.
And I love it because I love reading like-minded people, even people that are totally opposite of me, like the left. I'm totally don't think that way. I don't think a socialist way, not to get into politics, but socialism doesn't work. It's never worked in hundreds of years.
Oh, yeah.
It's 100% track record of failing.
Absolutely.
I don't know why this new breed of liberals, the DSA, Democrats.
Yes, exactly.
It's scary as shit.
It is.
Nothing has raised more people than capitalism in the world. It's a proven track record. I moved here from LA about a year ago, and I used to wear hats that said CEO, capitalist, all kinds of stuff. Right. Now I wear McGay hats.
The McGay hat, And those who are watching, you see his hat, the McGay, there you go. And those who are listening, he's wearing the hat, the red hat with the MAGAY for McGay. And explain that. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, I was just having fun one day and I just made a hat because this is what I do. And I was like, I wonder if I can trademark this. I'm actually in the process of trademarking it.
That's great.
And because it's fun, and I wear it because it's a conversational piece.
Sure.
And people I just came from Idaho. Nobody in Idaho gave me a hard time because it's pretty much a red state. But when I got to the airport, flying back to Vegas, I got the side eye. I got the this and the that. And one guy was like, hey, I like your hat. And another guy was like, what the fuck is that?
Did he say that?
Oh, yeah. And I applaud you for, speaking your mind. And I'm okay with that. I got thick skin. I'm like, well, I can think for myself, sir. I start there, because I'm not a puppet.
Right.
And, one thing I've learned is I'll trust but verify what the government, what a mentor, what anybody tells me. It doesn't matter. I trust you until I verify it.
Right.
And it's not that I don't believe you. I have to learn it myself.
Sure.
Like I would
Do your research.
Yeah, I have to do my own research.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what makes me a good product person because I don't know shit about anything. You know, when I made my first toaster oven, I was like, why do we need another one? You know?
Yeah.
Because toaster ovens have existed.
Yeah.
You know, and air fryers and hair dryers and whatever. And I'm just like, well, if you just change a little bit, my same friend Ken, who introduced me to Substack, if you know 1% more than someone else, you're an expert. I was like, wow, that's funny.
It goes to the product that, what does somebody need another rag called a Shamwow?
Yeah.
I mean, talk about taking something, and that went through the roof.
Yeah, it did really well.
It was just a basic idea. Yeah. And, you know, it's almost like the Scrub Daddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was yours or not, but I mean, a simple round sponge.
Yeah. I mean, it's a second, I think it's the second most successful product on Shark Tank. And
really?
Yeah. A soda drink was the most successful, a healthy soda drink.
Okay.
Because it got bought by Coca-Cola for billions. So that made it more successful.
Yeah.
Scrub Daddy is a great product. You know, I personally use it myself. And Lori Grenier is an amazing entrepreneur. You know, she personally has over 1,000 patents. And, you know, she is truly the queen of media, the queen of QVC.
Wow. Okay.
So I've followed her for years. I've known her. I love her. You know, she speaks honestly. And, you know, she's a nice shark. You know, she says no. I mean, it's like me. If I say no, it means there's no which way to sunshine. I can make this work.
Yeah. So your no is legitimate. It's not that you don't care.
Yeah.
It's not that you're blowing somebody off. You're pretty much saying, you know what? Like you said earlier, I can tell within 30 seconds if this is going to make it or not.
Yeah.
And if someone says to you, well, how can you do that? You know, trust me, I can. I've done this for years. And that's what you're telling people is if I look at it and I say no, well, from my experience of 36 years, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to give you any other answer.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, and this is for me, it's what I love doing. I have an RSS feed, real simple syndication from Google. Everyone should have an RSS feed to find things that they like to read about. So every morning I wake up, the first thing I read is my RSS feeds on the patents that were filed most recently.
Oh, so you're keeping up with all the patents being filed.
In categories that I like, not every patent.
Right, sure.
You know, I'm not going to read about nuclear design because I don't know anything about it. You know, but I love to read about, you know, Apple's patents, I have all the biggest companies listed, like whatever patents Apple or anybody that's an authority at patent at Apple publishes. I want to read about it, and I probably get 500 or 600 patent reads, and I scan through them. I'm like, oh, this one's fantastic, and if I like it, I put it in a folder, you know, for reference later on, because I can always learn. You know, we should always learn.
Always. I mean, that's the research that you do, and like you said, you want to. If somebody gives you information. Doesn't matter if you're from this side of the aisle, that side of the aisle, or whatever thinking you're at. You want to research it for yourself first, you know, because, you know, not everything is 100%.
100%.
And, you know, just like when you wear the McGay hat, you know, yes, that represents you as one side. Doesn't mean you don't listen to everybody 100%. And say, you know what, prove me wrong.
Yeah. I love conversation.
Prove me wrong.
Good, bad, or indifferent. I think we lost conversation because there's so many angry people.
Yeah.
And this is me personally, I believe the mainstream media told the truth. Everyone would love Donald Trump, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can't argue that.
Yeah. I mean, not hate him where they want to kill him.
Sure.
You know, but
they stirred that bee's nest up so much now.
And it's sad because I believe that he is a true American. He's been saying the same thing since the early 80s. He hasn't changed his tone.
He has not.
And for him to leave his private life to come and run as president of the United States and be the most hated man in the world, the most targeted person. And I'm not saying this because I'm a mega superstar. I'm not. You know, I judge him like anyone else. You know, I'm like, why did he do that? Or why did he?
Well, he's a businessman like you are. I mean, you guys are in that same realm.
And I mean, he's a builder. And what people don't understand is he looks at everything through a different lens. How is this going to work? Like when I look at a product, I look at it as a different lens.
Right.
You know, I don't look at it going, oh, this makes me feel good. Let's just do it.
Because I'm going to see it differently.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it. I'm not seeing it through the same lens you are. I don't have that experience or know-how.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that I don't know anything that I could possibly come up with, but you're looking at through that lens of 36 years of experience going, okay, I can size up that glass right now with that drink in it and decide if this thing's going to sell or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's only experience. That's all I have.
Yeah.
And everything I've learned was hands-on. I didn't know anything about anything, to be honest. I tell people that I faked it until I made it. I never said no. That's what I mean about I faked it, because I learned as I went.
Sure.
You know, and a lot of people won't do that. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, I don't have any experience in that." I don't have experience in anything. You know, when I started, but I got on a plane. I went to China, and I just got lucky. And I think I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And because I truly do want to help people. I truly want to, help as many entrepreneurs. There's enough room for everybody, and I always tell people, when I build products and people are like, "Oh, that blanket already exists." Well, okay, that's fantastic.
Right.
But then it's sell to the other half of America or whatever the story is. And there's so many people, and America's the biggest market in the world. Love it or hate it. We're not the biggest country in the world. We're the biggest finance, biggest military, biggest consumership.
Right.
And that's all that matters to me. Biggest consumership. If it works here, it's going to work everywhere.
And that goes for that product that you guys had, which is a Snuggie.
Yeah.
A simple, basic idea. And that whole story you told me about,
I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't think it would work. I didn't think it would work at all. I didn't think we'd make $1 million, but it made $1 billion.
That's crazy.
35 million units, and I don't own it.
It was an idea a friend of yours came up with.
Yeah.
And you almost told him this is not going to work.
And my whole thing was I went along with the ride, and, once we realized it was growing, I grabbed it and ran with it.
Didn't he tell you how to stay in China?
Yeah, stay in China.
Yeah. He said stay there.
Over 20 factories working on it.
Wow.
You would think one factory in China can do everything. It's not true.
Right.
If you've never been to China, you don't understand how it works. Like, I love China, the people, the culture, the communities. The government scares the shit out of me.
I've heard that so much.
The government scares me. I've been to China. I've lost count after 100 times.
Right.
And now, because I'm in a place in my life where I can really call things, I try to onshore as much as I can. I try to make things here as much as I can. Doesn't matter what it is. So I love it. I say when you go to China or Thailand or anywhere in the Southeast Asia to manufacture, you're only saving about 30%, which is true.
Right.
But you're losing time. So if you can make up that 30% in minimum order quantity in the time to get it from here, so it's a 30-day ride by sea,
Which is how much stuff is shipped anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. 90% of the
on a plane, unless it's an emergency
very little
order.
time you're going to put something on a plane.
Right.
And you're going to pay for that. It's first class ticket for every item. And you're going to pay for that. And you got to build that back into your ROI. So only times I do that is when I have to meet deadlines. I'll overnight shit from China,
right?
Which costs, and overnight stuff from China doesn't mean overnight. It means 3 days.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And
it's going to be pretty much on prototypes and things like that. You need to
100%.
see right away.
It's not
going to be on bulk orders. You're not going to be doing bulk ordering on a plane.
Never.
Yeah.
Unless it weighs nothing and it takes up no space.
Exactly. Yeah. So why do it?
Yeah.
Sure.
So no, I loved everything that I learned is hands-on, from shipping stuff all over the world to, making stuff and who's the expert of that product.
What's the most difficult country to do manufacturing in?
Japan.
Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Nothing bad about the Japanese people.
No, of course not. No, it's great. Yeah.
Japan is hard because they're so set in their ways. They're so smart and everything is so precise.
Everything has to be exactly.
Yeah, that's why they build the best cars, outside of Germany. That's why they, their products are amazing because they're so good at what they do when it comes to engineering and mechanics. So, but they're hard to deal with. A lot of people tell me when the first time I went to Japan, don't trust the Japanese people. I don't trust anybody, trust and verify. So I wear my heart on my sleeve. I truly do.
Right.
And if I think the one skill I do have, I can tell if you're a good person or a bad person. If you want something from me or not. That I can tell in a nanosecond. From a handshake to a pat on the back, I can figure out, oh, this person's a piece of shit.
Right.
And it's not like when you serve me a product and I don't think it's going to work, I might think in my heart, 100% this thing's going to work, but I don't like you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that factors into me.
You've got to be the complete package. Everybody's got great ideas, but if that personality of that person doesn't have that vibe that you're feeling,
you got to work with the person.
Yeah, exactly.
For at least 2 years.
Yeah.
You got to put up with them. And if you don't like them, it's a hard ride, and I'm not desperate. I haven't been desperate for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it's just like right now I'm building the biggest product of my life. It's a card that has a screen on it. It has this screen built into it.
And that was great. When you showed me a little bit of that, that you could just, it was basically put your thumb on it and explain that card to me. Explain, because I think people want to hear about this.
Yeah, it's called the Earn Back card. It used to be called the Complete card, but I did, market testing. A lot of people, I spelled complete QMPLETE.
Right, which is why I mispronounced it myself.
That's okay. And so a lot of people did the same thing you did, Q complete.
Yeah.
And it would drive me fucking crazy.
I know.
And so I changed it to earn with value.
Right.
Because before I built the card, and I'll back up how I came up with the idea.
Okay.
15-ish years ago, I was hired to work on a card, and it was a host card emulator card called Plastic, PLASTC.
Okay.
So you can look it up on YouTube, and it was a card that had a little calculator screen on it, black ink, and it only held 5 digits. And I can't remember, it was 19 cards, but you had to memorize the last 5 digits of all your account numbers. So there was no picture of your card. But again, I think they failed because they were so early. This was before Apple Wallet, Google Wallet, Samsung Wallet. So people don't understand host card emulation. That's all Apple Wallet is. It's host card emulation.
Yeah, if you look at it, the basics of it.
That's just the basis of it.
Yeah.
And so they take one wallet, everything's inside it. You flip through which card you want. And so I took it to the next step. Before I built the card, my card, the Earnva card, I built a platform. So I work with the biggest aggregators in the world that, I found out who the secret sauce was, the people behind the Trivago, Kayak.
Right.
I went to them and said, I want you to build me a better product. I want all of your hotels. I want all of your dining benefits. I want everything to save my new clients money, my new consumers money. And so we built that from ground up. When we go live, I can say we have the largest rewards incentive package in the world.
Yeah, I believe that you got some of the hotels you got on board.
3 million. We have 3 million.
3 million, yeah.
3 million merchants, over 2 million hotels, resorts, and home rentals, over 500,000 mom and pop restaurants,
right?
Over 120 exclusive merchandise deals like Tommy Bahama, Coach, things like that. So deals that you can't find on the internet are exclusive to my company, which I love. And it doesn't matter if I'm selling last year's fashion run. Right. It doesn't matter. You're getting 70, 80% off. As a consumer, I fucking love that. I'm not that gay. I don't know what's in stock, and my whole thing is like, well, I just saved 80% on this Coach bag. I love that. Right. So those are the things that I look for as a consumer. Like, people don't really care, if it's this year's model. Or
no, they don't. Not, especially now.
And most people don't even know.
They don't. Yeah.
And so if I can get you.
Unless the celebrity's wearing it and they go, well, this is this year's model, then they'll emulate the celebrity and go, well, because Kim Kardashian told me it was the newest model. That's the newest one.
They'll buy the fake one.
Yeah, they'll buy the
which is okay. Hey, there's a market for that too.
So are you allowed to talk about how the card exactly works?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the card itself.
So it's like it looks like a credit card.
A credit card with the Apple Watch screen built into it.
Okay.
It's color touch screen. That was so hard. And the reason why I took my time building it, because when we built the first card for my client, the flexible screens didn't exist. That's why I say he was ahead of his time.
Right.
Battery technology didn't exist. Flexible batteries. Now I've taken a battery that you only have to charge twice a month, maybe 3 times a month, depending on how much you play with your card.
Right.
That's using it 3 times a day, and that's the average. People swiping their card 3 times a day, but most people are using tap pay. And a lot of people have asked me, why are you making a card when everybody uses their phone to make payments? And I was like, well, not everybody takes a phone tap pay. Walmart, the biggest retailer in the world, doesn't take tap pay. I was like, so I started there, and 16 million other small companies don't take tap pay. So
that's a big market.
Yeah, the card is still very usable. People like that tactile feeling.
Yeah.
Swiping, tapping.
They do.
Inserting.
And they like that physical feeling of like people like the physical feeling of cash or money.
Yeah, 100%.
They're now gotten used to feeling that physical feeling of a card.
The older generation still likes taking out their card because they don't know how to use tap.
I mean, I still use my card all the time. I mean,
I carry 2 cards, my Amex and my Visa.
Yeah.
And that's it, because a lot of places don't take Amex, so I use my Visa.
Yeah.
And every time I run into Walmart, I run back to my car to get my wallet.
And the cool thing about that card, the Earnva, is that if I drop that card, no one can use it.
Yeah, no one can use it. So it holds up to 1,000 cards, not just financial, but it holds your reward cards, your membership cards, your gym pass, your library card. Holds anything with identifying number or identifying content. So QR code, barcode, account number, we can emulate. Even gift cards. So gift cards was a big thing. Like, even Apple doesn't emulate gift cards yet. So we were able to emulate gift cards. So when someone gives you a gift card, you're going to take out your Earnva app. You're going to take a picture of it. You're going to upload it. It's going to go into the card.
And that's it.
So now when you walk into a TJ Maxx, the card will remind you, because it knows that it's in its wallet. You have a TJ Maxx credit for $25. Do you want to use it?
So it reminds you.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem I have, because I'll have earned so many different things over different companies or businesses I go to. and I'll forget I have $25 there, $100 here. I mean, so this actually reminds you.
Yeah,
that
it'll
you have
remind
it.
you because it's geofenced. The card in the app
That's
is
great.
geofenced, so it knows that you're walking to a TJ Maxx or
Yeah.
Ross
Cool.
or whatever store you have. So it's smarter the more information you give it. So like Apple, you have to upload your financial information. Like
Sure.
Meta, like all these other companies, Google or Alphabet, all these companies, you got to share your sign on and your login.
Absolutely.
They don't know your sign on and login. I know that for sure.
Right.
But they have a personal link. Now they have a handshake between your Chase account and Meta. So it knows that they're together. So we're going to do the same thing. So when you link your Capital One card or your Discover, which is the same company now, which I just learned. I didn't know Capital One bought Discover.
There you go. Huh?
When you're at a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, the card in the app is going to know you're at a sit-down dining restaurant. It's going to remind you, use your Discover card because it gives you an extra 5% cash
So
back.
the card knows that you're sitting there
Correct.
in that dining
Correct.
establishment.
Yeah, and that's all AI, machine learning.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and
so it's actually, you're able to, so if you sit in a coffee shop, it'll know that you're in that coffee shop, and it'll let you know if you have something that is related to that coffee shop.
Yeah, like if I walk through Starbucks, it'll remind me that I have 400 points, I can get a free cup, a free merchandise.
You know how many
cup.
Starbucks cards I have sitting around in my drawer at home that has 25, and I don't even know how much is left on them.
Yeah.
So I just throw them in, and it's
you
probably,
just load them all up.
Yeah, I could probably buy 100 people coffee right now, but
And I mean, same thing, like Starbucks, I follow Starbucks because one, I love Starbucks because it's consistent all over the world.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
I'm a black coffee drinker. And if I'm in Korea or China or wherever, it's going to taste the same.
Sure.
And that's what I love about that franchise. Not that I don't like small mom and pop franchises in coffee. That is probably the only time I don't go to mom and pop's coffee shop.
Right. And you stick
because I know Starbucks is
right.
consistent and I get points. Now, if I probably
and most airports have it. I mean, every time I travel, there's always a Starbucks in there.
Always a Starbucks.
So I know what I'm getting. If I get a certain roast, I know what that roast is going to taste like.
I mean, I love them. The local companies like Founders and all these others.
Right.
I love their coffee. It's just they're not everywhere. So I know what I'm getting when I walk into a Starbucks. Good, bad, or indifferent. Great. I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest coffee, but it's consistent coffee.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's not my favorite either.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the consistency because I know when I walk in there, I'm getting a certain roast.
Yeah.
If I get the blonde roast or I get, a dark roast, whatever it may be, I know what it's going to taste like.
Yeah.
Because Starbucks keeps it that way.
And Starbucks rarely burns their coffee because they have to throw it out in, I think it's like 11 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But their coffee doesn't sit around for 11 minutes. So I know it's a small number of minutes.
Right.
They keep it in their vats.
Well, that's how they keep people coming back and spending that kind of money. And people I know, I mean, hey, we all have things in life we spend money on. And people say, well, if you want an $8 coffee, go to Starbucks. But you can say that about almost anything that someone has a passion for. Yeah. Whether they like buying a certain type of clothing manufacturer. I mean, let's face it, there are people buy only certain types of tennis shoes. If you're going to buy Nikes, you're spending money.
Yeah.
If you don't want to spend money on Nikes, then you'll buy another brand. Yeah. So everybody's got their thing. So I know Starbucks gets a bad rap about their $8 coffees, but really, if that's what someone likes, that particular consistency, then that's what they do.
I mean, luckily I drink black coffee, and so it's not $8.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I know I'm a real coffee drinker because I don't put anything in it, and I can tell if coffee's good, bad, or indifferent. And so I don't drink their fancy coffees. I don't even like them.
Let me tell you something. Is one thing that every time I go to anywhere I'm shopping at, it could be in a grocery store, there's always some new coffee company out. Is this like what is your thought on these constant new companies? And I'm not putting them down, but everybody seems to slap a name almost on the same bean. I mean, do people come to you and say, hey, I have this great idea for a new coffee company? I mean,
I recently had a company come to me. I'm like, I can't help you with that. One, they didn't have a big enough budget.
Right.
Because you got to have real money to go after the kingdoms, and Starbucks is the kingdom.
Right. And Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts. I mean,
they own the space. Dunkin' Donuts, as a kid who grew up in New England, they were my two.
Oh, they were everywhere. Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
And I love them so much that, you couldn't change my mind. But over the years, their coffees taste like flavored water now. They've lost their punch.
It does.
And Starbucks is still a lot stronger, but my favorite coffee is Vietnamese coffee, Lee's coffees. My favorite.
Right.
Vietnamese coffee is just the strongest. Not because I'm Vietnamese. It's just a good coffee.
And I've heard that. I mean, there's a certain coffee But these coffee companies, everybody's got, like I said, slapping their names on a coffee. Is it like the greatest decision or business decision to do is go into coffee beans or coffees?
No, I mean, there's so many you open up TikTok, Instagram, there's a new coffee company, a new design, a new story.
Yeah.
And they're all selling a story. I would go back to that. They all have a story. Like this new coffee company that they freeze dry their beans as soon as they process it. And their big story is the former CEO of Nespresso funded us.
Right.
That's a great hook. You know? Nespresso's not a small company.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You get the former CEO who gave you your first, seed funding. That's a big claim.
Right.
I haven't tried that coffee. The story sounds fantastic, but because I'm a marketer and I sell stories, you don't hook me that easy.
And that's how I think like a company like Black Rifle.
Yeah, Black Rifle's a good coffee.
It's a good coffee with their story.
Yeah, their story is conservative.
It was a few veterans that got together and they created this brand and the story, you're right. I mean, I've gone to conventions where they've had booths up and they've gotten books made about them. And so, that was interesting.
We're all consumers, we're all human. So we have to find attachment. So what do I have to say to get Scott to buy something I'm working on today?
Right.
What do I have to sell him? So it's just, I do a lot of talking to people and I love it. And like all the products I've worked on, I was always a contractor consultant. I never owned anything.
Right.
People called me because I'm an expert in getting things developed. So I can help you make that cheaper, better, faster. So that's why I came in. I didn't invent these products. They were always an idea from someone else. And so coming on board, it was like, they were just a client and I just did my best job to help them reduce their pricing, because one thing I can do is I have huge relationships in China. People know my name, surprisingly, and everyone's related. Everyone's someone's cousin, which I've learned over the years. And, it's like any Asian community. Everyone's, that was my cousin. Yeah. My cousin can help you. Okay, thank you. But I ride with that. I run with it.
Sure. Yeah.
And, but my thing is, I love building things like coffee is a drug. We all have to have it in the morning. Or whenever.
I do. I know I have to.
Yeah.
That's how I start
is
my
it
day.
mental? Is it physical? Is it psychological? It's all of those. I love the smell of coffee. I don't drink, but if you give me Guinness, that's the only thing I drink because it tastes like coffee to me.
Sure. Okay.
I love a dark stout.
Okay.
And so if you want my beer.
I know now. Yeah. I know exactly.
Guinness is the only thing I drink, or any dark stouts. Or,
Yeah. And I'm not a beer. I'm a whiskey person. Yeah. But I mean, back when I was going to college or younger, there were beers that I enjoyed, and I've tried all different beers. Guinness, which is a good beer, IPAs and things like that. And then over the years, as I got older, I seemed to found a little thing with whiskey. Yeah, and different, going across the board, trying all from different countries and things like that. But I remember that next time we're out.
I think the reason why I don't like liquors is because we go back to consistency. Right, every bartender pours differently.
They do,
and like if someone made me an old fashioned once, and I will drink. I'm not against it. I have no problems with it. It's just, it's not my go-to.
It's just like beer. I don't drink beer, but like I was in Texas recently at a German bar. A friend of mine had taken me to, and he said, I'll try this. Okay, fine. It's probably the first beer I had in probably 8 years. Yeah. And this was last year I sat down with him. And so, I not that I won't, but you're right, the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I have really dear friends in Idaho who I stay with, Jen and Ben. And I have old fashions with them because their friends don't give up.
That peer pressure. Yeah.
And I'm like, fine. And do I hate it? No. I can't tell you it's good, bad, or indifferent. I don't know an old fashioned from another old fashioned or a whiskey or a gin or anything. I don't know what's good or bad.
Yeah, because that's not your palate. Yeah.
I'm like, did it not burn my throat? Yes, it did not burn my throat. I have a new friend that he came out with a tequila and he wanted me to try it. I'm like, I wouldn't know if this was good or bad, so I'm not going to try it.
Yeah, it's like any
brand. And but I have friends that can tell you because they drink tequila. And so let me ask them and they're, well-to-do. They drink the top shelf stuff. So they're going to tell me, they're going to give me insight. Eddie, you should help them. Or Eddie, this is shit.
So even on liquor, like you're talking about that now, a liquor or IPA. Someone always has some kind of IPA beer they come out with, and they say, again, it goes back to the story. What's the story behind this new beer I'm buying or this whiskey? If I started Scott's whiskey tomorrow, I mean, okay, great, Scott, you have a whiskey that you started, and now what's the story behind it? Yeah. Because unless they buy it, and unless they understand what the story is, it's just another whiskey on the shelf.
100%. Yeah, I mean, everything starts with a vision or a story. And then you got to build on top of that. But I always say this, and every time I speak to young entrepreneurs, make a product, stand by your product. Money is a byproduct. If you only think about the money first, you'll never make money.
Yeah.
And that is literally, I say it all the time. Stop thinking about the cars you're going to buy and the girls you're going to get and the houses that you want. Forget that. Let's just focus on the product. Let's support and service the product if it needs it. Money is a byproduct. It doesn't matter if you're a plumber, you make a Snuggie, you make a new coffee. It does not matter. If you make a good product and you stand by it, money is a byproduct. The word will get around because social media really helps now. You know, like Ninja, they do a shit ton of money on social media now. They don't do TV ads anymore or very little. And because they found a whole new market, the young kids who love the ice cream maker, who love, whatever it is.
Yeah, everybody I talk to about it, everybody almost owns one. I mean, I own a bunch of.
You can make your margaritas in it. They don't say that in their commercials, but we figure it out on our own as consumers. And, I love the Ninja company because they're a small company. They don't have a lot of people, but they outsource a lot. So that makes them very profitable.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's smart. I have a friend who raised $55 million in LA for a tech product.
Okay.
And I went to him and I was like, why do you have so many people in your office? Why do you have such a beautiful office? And I won't say his name, but I was like, what? Let's call him Billy.
Let's call him Billy. We'll go with
Billy. I was like, Billy, why? Who are all these people?
Yeah.
He goes, oh, the investors love it. I was like, what is your burn rate?
Yeah. I mean, that overhead. I mean,
and I said, what is your rent? Your rent's got to be $25,000, $50,000 a month.
Right.
And I said, what have I always told you? Do it as lean as you can until you can't.
Yeah.
When I read about Meta and Google and all these companies that have hundreds of thousands of employees, I just stand, I'm like, wow. Yes. Are they huge? 100%. Can they sustain it? Yes. But they're always hiring and laying off, because they learn the people that are just leaning, they're not cleaning, they're not doing anything. So there's always going to be those people that come and go.
Yeah.
But I use as an example, like LA's postal service. One of the districts has 80,000 employees. 80,000. You can look this up. And we all know the post office fails.
Oh, yeah. It's the big, like one guest that came on said, sell it off. It's just the worst business.
And so if you privatize that, like an Amazon who has.
That's what he said. He said privatize it. Same thing.
It. Yep. It will make money. You'll get your mail in time and there'll be no problems.
There you go.
And I'm not saying government doesn't do anything right, but they don't do anything right. Don't give them your insurance policy. Yeah. Don't give them, your decision making for your health. Don't give them any of that because that's not what they do. I want to wake up in America and know that I'm in America and I'm free. That is it.
That's it. Yeah.
That is it. That's why you have my tax.
Let me make my own decisions.
Yeah. Let me buy my own private insurance. Right. Let me get my, Medi-Cal, all those things helped a lot of millions of people, but they're in a different situation. I want to pick my own insurance company. I don't want you to tell me that I have to have Obamacare.
Right.
Which didn't work out and they won't admit it. And, it's supposed to save us money where everyone's going to be covered, this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
never been proven.
Nope.
They just went back to ask for more money. And I would say to them, I'm like, oh, I thought you didn't need any more money once it started. And I lost the company because of Obamacare. I've always been in prescription medication. And it was called the medicine cabinet. We were doing pretty well until Obama came around. We were a PAP, Prescription Assistance Program. It's a federal program.
Right.
We found a loophole to get your medication for free. You paid us a membership or a subscription base.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm doing it again today. So called Complete RX. I'm actually changing the name to Andrew RX, which was my husband. And he died of cancer. And,
yes, you told me that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we were together 22 years and he was always on medication. And I woke up one morning, I'm like, I'm changing Complete RX to Andrew RX because he would want people to get their medication.
Sure.
And for me, that's my personal story. And if you read it in the founder's log, people might attach to it or not, but that's not what I'm pushing.
No, it's not. It's not, but it's the story.
Yeah. And it works for me. And that's all that matters. So I think everyone should have the medication. I think there'd be less mental illness, less school shootings, a lot of less things. If you got the medication you needed.
Right.
I am gay. I'm part of the LGB, lesbian, gay, bisexual.
Right.
I am not TQIA plus infinity because, and I say this not to make anyone mad. This is my own personal, the TQIA plus infinity is mental illness because you need a medication, a pill, powder, or potion, surgery, psychological help. That is not normal.
Right.
So I'm part of physical love. I love another man, vice versa. I'm not into, I got to change my body, cut off my dick. I need medication. I need hospitalization. I'm not about that.
So do you think that the one half there combined with the other half, they did that to legitimize it?
No.
By adding it to the LGBT?
No, Obama did that.
Obama
did that, and the most hateful person that ever taken office. And I don't say that because I'm a conservative. I say that because it's factual. He brought back racism. It was a marketing scheme for him. I mean, how can you bring back racism when you're the first black president? Get the fuck over yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, what you're doing is you're trying to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Is when you keep the two sides fighting each other. They're too busy now to worry about what's going on in the government because they're busy fighting each other down below.
And all these, queers for Palestine. What the fuck are you talking about? I
was going to ask you about that. I mean, what's the thinking? I mean, because obviously being a gay conservative, you obviously have to face people who are not conservatives who are gay, and they're asking you, how can you be conservative with
like,
gay?
Why do you support this man who's taking so many rights from us, who hates us, who's
but yet they're supporting Palestine?
I was like, well, the first thing I asked,
just takes rights away and throws you off the top of a building,
100%, and stones you, whatever.
I mean,
you're a woman, you get raped, you're at fault. Like, really, bitch?
Yeah. So I just I couldn't understand. I mean, hearing it from your side of things, you're in that, you see that, and you hear it from other people. What's the thought there?
I mean, I get a lot of hate from a lot of different angles because, one, I'll never back down. I have thick skin, and I want conversation. Good, better, and different. I'm not going to try to convince you.
Right.
You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. My whole thing is, one, as a conservative, I can think for myself. And not to say that liberals don't think for themselves, but they think in the masses. They're like one thought. They don't research. Like when the TQIA gays come to me and like, why do you hate yourself? I'm like, why do you say that?
Yeah.
They're like, why are you conservative? Why do you hate yourself? I'm like, nobody loves me more than me.
Right.
I was like, I love myself. I'm like, first of all, I've never been in the closet to come out. I've always known I was gay. I had great parents. And my whole thing is, you don't do enough research. Like, you're standing behind Palestine. Where is that?
Yeah.
Do your homework.
Sure.
What is fascism?
Right.
Like, you call Trump a fascist.
Oh, they use that buzzword on everything now. It's fascist. I mean, they don't know what fascist is.
Yeah. Like the left just talks in bullet points.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Like socialism is euphoria. It's fantastic.
Sure.
But
it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Nope.
Who pays for it? Like, I think if people understood how taxes work, they wouldn't think.
Well, they don't teach it in school anymore.
No, they don't. And
they don't teach economics. They don't teach any of that stuff.
I think they should teach just a plain financial literacy.
Right.
How do taxes work? When I collect your 10, 15, 30%, whatever it is, it helps pay for the roads, the military,
right?
Whatever it is. When
your property taxes pay for the police, they pay for fire.
And so when the DSA and all these other people say, well, we should have free school, free housing, free hospital.
Right.
I'm like, and who pays for that? Well, the government does. And how do they pay for it?
But they want to give more taxes to the rich now.
Yeah, who pay?
They don't understand. You keep taxing the rich is not going to solve the problem.
No, and they'll just leave. I left California because of that.
Yeah, because they tax you on top of taxes in California.
And they're just making up taxes.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom's the worst person. Yeah. I think he wakes up in the morning, how can I fuck more people?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow.
They just did a tax on top of the gas tax. So they're taxing you on their gas tax now.
What I don't understand is people don't question. I know California is a one-party state. I lived there for 25 years.
Right.
And I could feel it. I lived in Hollywood Hills for 15 years, and then I left because homelessness was invading my space.
Right.
When you can pitch a tent in my front yard and I can't do anything about it, it's time to leave.
There's something wrong here.
So I moved to West Covina and much more peaceful there, less homelessness.
Right.
And I love everybody's story. I don't know why you're homeless, but there is help for you. And a lot of people that are homeless don't want help. And that's just a fact.
They enjoy living.
That's just a fact.
If somebody wanted to, quote unquote, camp for the rest of their life, and what if I decided to go out into the wilderness and decide this is where I'm going to live? I'm homeless, right? But if they like the convenience factor of being homeless in a city, because then they have all the resources there. They can live on the street, but, people choose it. I've talked to some homeless people as well, and they choose to be that way.
100%.
A lot of them have mental illness,
and
then you throw the drug part on top of it. So it's just a bad mixture.
Yeah. And then, you're in the best country in the world to get help.
Yes.
There's so many programs out there, good, bad, or indifferent. There's a lot of fraud programs too that we're finding out now.
Absolutely.
Which I love that this administration is going after, because I lived in California for 25 years and I've seen so much fraud and it just didn't make sense. And people thought because I'm a conservative, you're just making that shit up.
Yeah.
I was like, how does a place stay sustained like that? How are you driving a $130,000 car when I've never seen anybody go into your office?
Yeah.
You know, just little thing. I mean, just common sense thoughts. I can think for myself to go back to that.
But it goes to that, you know, the one side thinks for themselves, like you talked about, and then we have the other side, which we know what side that is, where they're almost all in a herd think tank. They all think the same. Nobody think they feed off each other's, and they go, oh yeah, you're like me, so you must be right.
Yeah.
As opposed to questioning it. And so next thing you know, there's 100 of them in the same room, all echoing the same thought, but none of them came up with their own thought.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so funny because I can think for myself, and I'll always challenge the narrative.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter if I'm listening to a Dan Bongino, who I love, or, you know,
Right.
Tucker Carlson, I used to like, you know, and
Well, yeah.
everyone loses their way. We don't know why. A Candace Owens.
Yeah, I used to like Glenn Beck, then I didn't like Glenn Beck.
Yeah.
Now I'm listening to Glenn Beck again.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone back and forth with him over time.
Yeah.
You know, so I get it. Yeah. I mean, and Candace Owens.
We think for ourselves, like, okay, I'm done with you for a couple months.
Sure.
Let me go find someone else.
Yeah.
But I've been steadfast with Dan Bongino. Like,
Dan, I listen to quite a bit.
He's my
Absolutely.
truth. He's my barometer.
Yeah.
You know, if he says it, I believe it. But I still do my research.
Yeah.
You know, but he gives me the points to research.
He does, and he's so, and you know, he not only says it, but you could tell in his passion. We'll talk about passion, right? The passion of his delivery.
Yeah. You
can tell from the passion that this man is speaking not only the truth, but from his heart.
Yeah, and he's lived it too.
And he lived it.
Yeah, as a police officer, Secret Service, then an FBI agent, number 2, and you know,
and then he stepped back down from it.
Yeah,
you know, and
he did what he said he was going to do. I'm
Yeah.
going to give this administration a year. I'm going to find the bomber, and that was what he said before he left his show, which was very successful. None of us can say how much he lost in millions of dollars.
Exactly, yeah.
And then he went back to his private life, and I applaud him for that.
I think he enjoyed being a voice.
Yeah.
I think he enjoyed being that voice out there, which he couldn't do when he was working in the government. You know, because it
was more powerful as a voice.
Exactly.
You know, because you know, we lost Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk was a force to reckon with. And you know, who killed him or how he was killed is conspiracy. We won't know. Like, I truly believe we will never know the truth.
We're never gonna know.
And it's sad.
It goes back to JFK.
Yeah.
You're never gonna know.
Yeah.
You know, even to this day, with the whole JFK files being released, nothing's been released.
No,
nothing's.
I've seen all the videos. Like, I don't believe anything anymore because it's deep fake.
No.
And it's so, I mean, it is so hard to tell. Like, there's filters to see if something was AI generated, and I use all of them, and I'm just still like,
it's like the UFO stuff being released. I was just asking somebody yesterday, is this real? I mean, I'd like to believe it is.
Yeah.
I believe in UFOs.
100%.
But is that what they're releasing? What it is,
Yeah.
or am I being fooled here?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing in Miami. With the alien in Miami, that whole thing. And they show these videos. I'm thinking, is someone make this? I mean, is someone produce this in their basement?
Yeah, and they're so good at it.
I mean, I don't know.
And everybody just runs with it and becomes viral.
Yeah.
You know, my whole thing is, like, since I was a kid, nothing you could tell me would make believe that we went to the moon.
Right.
That aliens don't exist, you know, besides the illegals, and and the pyramids were built by man. I don't believe any of that bullshit.
Right.
You know, like, there's nothing you can say to me that we went to the moon. And I've talked to astronauts.
It's like the pyramids. I can't believe that a bunch of people built these pyramids with the exact measurements that they did with the crude tools that they have. That's just me. You know,
just the human manpower.
I mean, it just can't be done.
Yeah. And
we can't even build a road in 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, I love listening to both sides.
I mean,
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a part of a men's group called Metal, METAL.men. That's the website. Everybody should go to it.
I'm going to look that up. Yeah.
And I love it because there's experts in all industries in there.
Right.
And from scientists who work with NASA in space and all kinds of stuff to guys who created crypto that we know today. And millionaires, billionaires, and me is what I always say. And I look at it and, like, I love being a part of Metal because, one, it's a men's group. It's all men who want to be better men, better uncles, better fathers, better husbands,
That's great.
You know, and heart-centered human beings. And I love being a part of it. I've tried to quit a couple of times, as you know, on a serious note, because it does get political and we're not allowed to talk about politics.
Right. Okay.
And we're not allowed to talk about politics, religion, and sexual preference. Well, everyone in the group knows I'm openly gay. You know,
especially if they see a picture of your hat. Yeah.
And so, and I'm friendly with most of the men.
Right.
And my whole thing is, like, I'm very outspoken. I don't care what you say. And, you know, some people till this day, 2026, why are you gay? What?
What?
You know, I'm like, first of all, I was like, how do you know you're straight?
Yeah.
You
That'd
know,
be a legitimate question to ask back.
and I say that right back to them. I'm like, they're like, how do you know you're gay? I'm like, one, because I'm not attracted to women.
Right.
You know, there's nothing down here that wakes up. You know, not to say that women aren't beautiful.
Sure.
You know, I will say a woman is beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a teenager, Raquel Welch was so beautiful, elegant. And I think it was the elegance that made her beautiful to me. Not sexually.
Right.
There's a difference.
The
You
way
know?
she carried herself. I mean, there's a certain way that she carries herself that makes her a beautiful woman. You just look at her and go, wow.
But when I watch Star Wars and I see Mark, what's his name?
Harrison Ford?
No, not Harrison Ford. Luke Skywalker.
Oh, Mark Hamill.
I'd be so turned on. I'd be like, oh my God, he's so beautiful. But that's not something that was was pre-programmed. I mean, at birth. And I could tell people, I'm like, I don't know why I'm gay, but I would choose not to be straight because I don't know what that is. You know, I can't even watch straight porn because it's weird to me. I mean, I worked in the industry and I would be on set watching. I'm like, that's so weird.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And I still have friends today that ask me, why are you gay? I'm like, what? Like, you'd be such an awesome dad. I'm like, I'd be a gay dad.
Yeah. I mean,
you know?
I think that's just one of those things that people just need to open their mind up a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean,
you can believe in what you believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're talking to somebody and they say, this is why, okay, great. And take it for what it is. There is no reason to try and dissect it and make them think bad about themselves or make them think your way.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what happens when conversation is sometimes people try to get in there and change your mind about that.
Yeah.
They get on a personal mission. Like, how am I going to take Eddy and change his mind about this?
Yeah.
Well, it's not your job to do that.
Yeah.
Your job's to listen to me, and my job's to listen to you, and let's see how we can come to the middle here, or agree to not disagree, whatever.
I've been saying, I love conversation, good, bad, or indifferent. I will sit with anybody. I will sit with the enemy across the table and just have a conversation. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't like conflict. People think I like conflict. I don't.
Right.
But I'm not afraid of it either. You know, I can stand my ground. And one thing I always have is receipts. Like, when I talk about something, I have receipts.
Right, exactly.
You know, so you talk about something, you have emotions.
Like you talked about the moon landing. You know, you go on that. You don't believe we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
You know, and if I was somebody who said, oh, absolutely, I believe we landed on the moon. My job at the end of the day isn't to convince you. I'll give you the reasons why I think I did that. And you know what? I have my reservations. So I used to be one that was 100% would have been opposite of you. But lately, you know, my mind has actually gone to 50-50 now, where I can actually see what you're talking about, even if you laid your points out.
But to me, just a one point I want
to go ahead.
The moon landing.
I'll give you mine. I'll give you mine. Go ahead.
And so we all seen the Jiffy Pop, you know, rocket leaving the moon.
Yes.
I don't care that they
left the whole foil thing.
I don't care that they left the camera there and a cameraman, which is the joke. Who picked up the cameraman?
Right.
You know, and the thing took off. My question is just science. What was the propulsion?
Yeah.
You know, there's no atmosphere in space. There's no oxygen for rockets to take off. How did it leave the atmosphere?
Right.
And that is not the same rocket that landed in the ocean that we saw. And how did they come back 250,000 miles in that Jiffy Pop rocket?
Yeah.
Like, no fucking way.
That's a good question.
You know, I'm standing at that. Question. That's the one thing. I have so many more, but that's the first one.
And mine is the phone call.
Oh, yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Well, I lose service calling
in my garage
from Boulder City to Las Vegas sometimes. If I called you up, now you're telling me that they called on a phone, 1969, all the way out to space. It went through the first time, clear as a bell, and you're telling me that happened.
Yeah.
And yet today we can't make phones connect. Even on landline, the landline is interference.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah. I mean, that's another one of mine too.
I mean,
like, look, I'm like, and you're going to tell a lie. You told a great lie for 60, 70 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I applaud you, you know, because you sold a story.
Yeah.
You know, and it's what it comes down to. You sold a story, just like COVID. COVID was a story.
Yeah.
It was the most branded strain of the flu in world history. And, you know, I applaud the government. Good, bad, or indifferent.
It was a good sell job.
You know?
Well, they sold it because they made you buy into the 2-week pause. Remember that? They made you buy into the 2-week pause, and then they kept pushing the goalpost.
Yeah.
They kept pushing the goalpost. Next thing you know, we're shut down 6 months.
Yeah.
And because I got you so used to it, and you start applauding it, the people start going, oh, I see how dangerous. You're right. Absolutely right. Bodies are piling up.
Yeah.
And, you know, then the vaccine comes. You know, like the knight in shining armor.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
What a
husband and
story.
I got into a fight over the vaccine because he was always immune, deficient,
Right.
and because he had cancer twice before the vaccine or before the scamdemic, and he was like, "Are you going to get the shot?" I'm like, "Nope." We got into fights over it,
Wow.
verbal battles, not because I stood on the conservative side.
No,
that had zero to do with it.
Exactly.
Zero.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about in politics. I thought about it as a person who builds things for a living.
Sure.
Like, there's no fucking way they made a vaccine this fast. I don't care if all the superpowers in the world came together. It's just like
it's a product.
Yes.
It's a product. And you've developed enough products to know. Yeah. You've developed enough products, except your products you were developing weren't being pushed inside somebody.
Yeah. And I just say, and it was the best human experiment ever done.
Yeah.
And now they have data on it if they're going to do it again. Because, we've all recently heard, if you pay attention to any news, the bird flu is coming.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
and the norovirus was out with the whole contained on a ship and all this stuff. I mean, it just never ends. But now, we can peel back the layers of that onion. Yeah. And we can see,
I'm not telling you to believe it or not believe it. Just do some research.
That's it. Yeah.
You have so many tools today to research on your own. You don't have to believe me or believe you or believe anybody.
Absolutely not.
Just do your own research.
Absolutely not.
Use all the AIs out there, from Grok to ChatGPT to Cloud to all of them. Use all of them and see what they say. It is what it is.
It is, yeah. I mean,
if you don't want to research, then you're the asshole. That's all. Then don't talk to me. Yeah.
And I'm willing to say, hey, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 100%.
I've said that a bunch of times to people. I didn't know that. Yeah. Or hey, I didn't realize that, but I'm going to look it up. Yeah. And it's not that I'm trying to tell the person I don't believe you. Yeah. It's just that I need to educate myself more on that. Yeah. I need to say, okay, maybe I will take what you're saying and I'm going to go look it up and I'm going to let you know, man, you were 100% right on. Yeah.
And I love that. I love it when I learn something new. Yeah. Because, I can't know everything. Nobody knows everything. But that's why I love talking to people, because even it doesn't matter who or where or what you do for a living. You could know something better than me. Absolutely. Because your life experiences. Yeah. And I love that. Like, that's why I love talking to, people that came to America from another country, and like going to the present stuff, like the soccer FIFA. I love that all these videos are coming out, that foreigners saying how much they were tricked, that America was so violent, so deadly.
Just shows you what the media can do, huh?
And how powerful the media is. Yeah. And as I said earlier, I think if the media told the truth, the world would be a better place. But they have a narrative. Yes, do they have to sell advertising? Of course they do. Sure. As a person who sells product, there's only 3 ways that I know of to sell product. You scare somebody, heartstrings, or information. That's it. Yeah. That's the only ways you can sell a product.
That's it.
Or tell a story. So the media told how violent America was, and there's so many people that believe that 1,000 black men are killed every year, by the police. That is so fucking untrue. Right. There's more white men killed by the police than black men, but they don't talk about that. Right.
Well, they're trying to push a certain narrative.
No, they are, and I'm sorry if I'm pissing off people. No, well, but
that's what we're here for. Real people, real stories.
Yeah, it's just my stories.
I want real people. I want to script the show. I don't want to script a podcast.
And I know we've been all over the universe in our conversation.
We have to, and that's what it's all about. People always say to me, wow, how come you went on that? Like, because I let the conversations where they go. And I don't have to agree with everything somebody says or not agree. It's about having conversation. Yeah. And I'm here to learn as a person who's doing a podcast. Yeah. And you're here to talk about your message and what you've learned. And this is also about these experiences, whether it be politics, whether it be some bad failures, whether it be deaths to people that we love. All that's part of our vault. It really is. You can't take one and not put it in there. Yeah. Politics does have a play in things. So does economics. So does family. All that goes in your vault. And then you take pieces of it out and you use it. Because if you don't and you leave one out, you're missing an ingredient. Yeah. That's just the way I look at it.
100%.
I really do. I mean, and you're out there trying to talk to people who are young entrepreneurs, even older entrepreneurs. I mean, no one says you can't reinvent yourself at 100%. 60 years old and come up with an idea.
There are so many very successful people that didn't start their wealth until they hit 50 or 60. Yeah. So many I read about, and I love reading history because it's the best teacher we have. Absolutely. You can't change it. It is done. It is set in stone.
We can't change history. No. People always try to change it. Yeah. And I'm also not responsible for it.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm not responsible
I'm sorry
for
if, some of my elders and my ancestors
Yeah.
had slaves. That had nothing to do with
It
me.
had nothing to do with me.
I wasn't even a thought.
Yeah. Everybody wants to hold somebody responsible now for what happened 100, 300, 1,000, 3,000. In that case, let's go back 3,000 years and let's hold the Assyrians to something.
Yeah.
Anybody who has Assyrian blood in them, guess what? You were in an empire and you did this bad thing, or the Olmec, or the Roman. Or the Egyptian Empire. Go back to the Zhou dynasty.
No, perfect.
The Zhou dynasty in China.
Yeah.
They were one 3,000 years ago. They were one of the original. So how far back do we need to go at some point?
And I always tell people, stop being a victim.
Yeah.
Just stop being a victim. Like,
Exactly.
woe is me. Fuck you. And I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is, if you got, money because somebody did something 200 years ago, what does that change?
Yeah.
What does that change?
It doesn't make you a better person.
Does it prove anything? No. Doesn't really prove anything either.
No.
So move on and move upwards.
My family wasn't here. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
They came from Italy.
Yeah.
And
Italians were treated well.
No, they weren't. They came here during, the whole period in 1910s. So they weren't around then. So am I excluded from the responsibility? Let me ask that question. My family wasn't here then. So therefore I should be excluded from that equation of a reparation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look at how the Italians were treated in New York City. When
the Irish, the Italian.
Yeah, it was like, everybody was
uh,
persecuted at one time or another.
Absolutely.
Like, I had a friend argue with me, like, your people have never been slaves. I'm like, really? Asian people never been slaves? What do you think built the fucking railroads?
Yeah. They need to do more homework on that. Absolutely.
And so, I don't buy into that. And, I'm sorry that history happened, but
exactly.
It is what it is.
Are the people who suffered the Spanish Inquisition, are those families who have blood to the Spanish Inquisition, are they going to be held accountable?
Yeah.
How far back do we go? When do we pick and choose?
Yeah.
I know something is built up to be a hot topic.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what they did.
And
and
sensationalizing,
absolutely
untruths
and,
partial truths. Like the left never admits that they created the KKK or, Jim Crow. They never admit it. But that's history.
They deflect. It's history. Accept what it is.
They never. None of the Democrats in office went to Abraham Lincoln's inauguration. Like, that is history.
Yeah.
Because they wanted slavery. Like, doesn't that say anything to you as a person today, 2026? Like, wait a minute, I've been lied to.
Yeah.
For at least 15 years.
And it goes back to the whole thing of people just don't want to know they don't want to know the truth.
Yeah.
They just want to know what the buzzwords are, because I think some people are afraid of the truth, because what they're afraid of is it's going to change their mind. Because somebody who's waved a flag so long for one side and then they learn the truth, they don't want to put down that flag because, oh my God, I've been doing this so long, I don't want to give that up. So I'm going to keep believing, and not face the truth. And that's what they're doing.
That's all it is.
That's what I think most people, and this is in my opinion, people can hate me for it too, as a person who's on a podcast, and that is, I think a lot of people who are thinking about conservatives a certain way, or fascism, they know what the real truth is. They just don't want to admit it.
Well, yeah.
They don't.
Yeah. And I love it when I go online and I see people, it's called the walk away campaign. They're walking away from the left.
Yeah.
Because they found out the facts. And more, I see more and more of those videos every day. And it actually makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Not because I hate the left. I don't. I have a lot of friends who are liberal and
I have
Democrats.
family members who are. I get along with them great. We were a great
we
family.
just don't talk about politics.
We just leave the politics off the table. But everything else is great. We get along great. We break bread together. We
just think differently.
Exactly.
My thing is, I think capitalism is the best human lifter in human history.
And it's there for the taking.
Yeah.
It's for everybody.
Look at countries like China, Russia, and all these countries that were communists, that once they opened up the capitalistic doors, how many billionaires came out of China? Because now they can run their factories. Now they can sell their goods. Now they can do their thing. I'm like, it is the truth. It is factual. So giving away healthcare, hospitalization, schooling, that sounds fantastic.
Sure.
But somebody's got to pay for it.
It's got to come from somewhere.
And the government doesn't make money. They collect taxes.
And if they keep printing money, it devalues the dollar anyway.
It does.
You can only tax so much, and people don't understand that, you're right, that money has to come from somewhere. And there's only so many taxes that you and I can pay.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you take.
Or we're willing to pay.
Yeah. Because what's going to happen is I can't afford to live.
Yeah. When we left Britain 200 plus years ago.
On a tea tax.
Yeah. On a tax. It happened.
Just on tea.
Yeah. And we created the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
And
now we have taxes on everything.
And I just found out recently that income tax was supposed to be temporary.
It was.
To fund the war.
It
I was like, what?
We talked about that too in another show where, and the guest didn't even know that either. It was a temporary tax, and then there are some states that never had it that have it now.
Yeah.
I mean, Connecticut's one of them. They used to have no income tax.
Yeah.
Now it has an income tax.
Yeah. It's just,
I mean,
it sounds great, but there's got to be a breaking point.
It does.
There's going to be a tipping point where the people are like, no more. And,
and we're getting to that point.
Yeah, we're getting
there. We are getting to that point.
I love that Trump did the tariffs. I mean, I work overseas.
Sure.
I pay those tariffs, but I also understand it's a business expense. I'm willing to pay.
Right.
Because I know at the other end, when I sell 1,000, 1 million, 2 million units of whatever it is, it already paid that bill.
Right.
Because I understand economics at a basic level.
And that needs to be introduced back in the schools.
Yeah.
The economics part.
I don't.
And not only economics, but the entrepreneur part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it be great if in high school there was a course on entrepreneurship?
I think that would be fantastic.
I mean,
how to balance a checkbook. Not that we have checkbooks anymore or check registers.
Yeah.
But you should still know that basic exercise.
How to balance it on your phone. You can pull up your bank account, look at the statements.
Yeah.
I put X amount of dollars in. I took X amount of dollars out. Here's what I'm looking at the end of the month. Yeah. Can I afford to do this? Can I buy that Wave Runner?
Yeah.
Or can I buy that shirt?
Yeah.
Or can I buy those Nikes?
Yeah.
But they don't know how.
Yeah. It's just
simple.
Like, you're not the government. Don't spend more than you have.
Yeah.
None of us are the government.
No, we are not. Yeah.
So
they can always extend their credit.
Always.
They can always, you and I can't.
Yeah.
It costs us to do that.
100%.
And we have to get approved for it. Our credit lines only go to so much.
Yeah.
And even then, somebody is tacking something on top of it. The government says, well, we'll keep extending.
No, we just keep printing.
Yeah.
And that's not good at all.
Oh, amazing. So let's switch gears. I want to talk last about Shark Tank.
Yeah.
The experience with that. And what do you see on people bringing stuff on that show?
Yeah. So I worked for the casting side. So the show was one entity. I worked for the casting side where you were
So I'm bringing a product on the Shark Tank.
So you had I think it was like 2 minutes to tell me about your product. So I made a rule like, I don't want to know anything about you, Scott. I don't want to know your story.
Right, just a product.
Just a product, because I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Right.
So I got really good at, I'm sorry, ma'am, sir. I don't need to know your name.
Got it.
So
I just come in and I'm selling you this glass.
Because I can look at this glass and say, you know what? I can sell 1 million of those. If I can sell 1 million to me, I can sell 1 billion to someone else.
Got it.
Because that's just because I'm jaded. And what's going to make me take out my credit card to buy your
product? So you're basically screening the inventions that were
that's out. It. So I did the product side. The producers did the person side.
Got it.
So the producers were like, well, that's a great product, but that person is too stable too. They need a little crazy. So if you actually watch a show, they have the 4 people and one person's always the cockroach.
Yeah.
The person is always made fun of. So because that's advertising. And the show's been on for 25 seasons or whatever it is.
Right.
And I love it,
So are there people with inventions that come on, but they have a horrible personality, they never make it on, right?
Yeah.
But they have a great invention.
Correct.
Okay.
Always.
Do those people
and vice versa?
Do they get deals? Do they get deals if they don't make it on the show and someone sees a nice invention? Does someone like
sometimes.
Okay.
Like I couldn't go after them and say, hey, I didn't make it on the show, but I like your product.
Right. Because you have a deal with the showrunners. Yeah.
That's why I tell people, like, how do we follow up with them? There's a website called Shark Tales, TALES.
Okay.
.com that follow us up on every.
Oh, really? Okay.
Inventor that made it on the show, didn't make it on the show, and I love that because some people I have a personal connection with. I try to follow up because I generally have their phone number, but some people I want to help, but legally I can't help.
Yeah, because obviously,
I'm like, oh, you should call this guy.
Not that approach the ideas. And then, so there are people obviously with great personalities, but they just have a bad invention. They don't make it on.
Yeah. But if you had a horrible personality or you were just great for TV and you even had a worse product, they put you on a show.
Cause you're just supposed to, it's like being on The Voice or one of those shows. Yeah. They need something they can make fun of. Right.
Yeah, that sells advertising.
Right.
So, and good, bad, or indifferent. I loved it and hated it at the same time.
So the people that actually do get on there and they have the invention and they're sitting in front of Mark Cuban or Robert Herjavec or Kevin Leary and all those people, how successful are those inventions overall after these so-called deals are made?
I mean, I would say 50-50.
50-50, okay.
Yeah, 50-50 because those guys truly have a machine that can make or break you.
Okay.
And a lot of it fails because a lot of people realize the inventor says, yeah, I have the patent, or yes, I have this deal, but they don't because they have to do diligence,
okay.
So they don't write a check just because they say that on TV. They got to go through scrutiny.
So it goes through scrutiny and then they actually give the money to it. So, like Damon John is on there. He says, I love this. I'm going to give you $500,000. You give me 10% ownership. but he's going to do all his due diligence, have his lawyers check
if
it
you
out.
lied, we're like, you don't get the money, and the story never gets told. So that's why when you go in there, I mean, everyone tells me because of my new company in Fordham, oh, Eddie, you should go in Shark Tank. I'm like, why? I'm like, one day I'm going to be an investor on Shark Tank.
Is that the worst place to go to, really?
No,
it just entertaining? Is it just entertaining?
Yeah, it's entertaining, and I think it works. The machine works.
It does, okay.
And people are getting smarter. Like, if you watch season 1 of Shark Tank to season whatever it is now, 26 or whatever.
I think I watched the first 7 or 8, and I stopped.
Yeah. They grew into what they are. Amazon owns Shark Tank now. I don't know if you know.
I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that.
Amazon bought it from Mark Burnett. And so I don't think they advertise that either, but they own a property. And that's why it's very commercialized now.
Got it. Okay.
So the show should last forever.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, it's a great show. I enjoy watching it because I like to see the different inventions and see what kind of deals are being made.
And I love that they bring in guest investors.
Right.
I think that's smart because Mark Cuban's, the Hershevaks, and O'Leary, and everyone else on the show, they're all great, but they've become jaded.
Yeah.
And then the new...
And how many deals can they actually make?
100%, yeah.
I mean, after a while, it's kind of like, how many deals can they actually make?
And they all got rich on that show.
Yeah, they did.
All got richer. Mark Cuban, I think, writes the biggest checks, the most checks, because he's the richest person on the show.
Right.
And, but it's probably 25% of his, I'm just guessing, 25% of his deals actually make him money back. But he actually makes the most money back because he puts out the most money. It's just a numbers game.
And he takes the biggest cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a smart guy. Do I personally like him? No, I couldn't care less. But, I say this freely. He's one of those guys, if he could suck his own dick, he'd never leave home.
Right.
He just loves himself.
He does.
As he should,
And how about O'Leary? How about him?
I think he's the smartest guy on the show.
He seems more like the financial advisor type than he really is a guy who...
He's truly a numbers guy.
Really?
He's not emotional. He's not,
I love watching a lot of stuff that he does.
Yeah.
I do. I watch him a lot.
When he does guest appearance on other pod shows.
He does.
I love it.
He's awesome.
When he was on Diary of a CEO, I loved him on that show. I loved him, period.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 people on the Shark Tank that I truly couldn't care less for. I won't say who. I couldn't care. I'm like,
I won't fish either.
I couldn't care less for.
Yeah.
One was the tallest and one was the shortest. We can take it from there.
I think I got the idea.
Yeah. And I just, it's a great platform for entrepreneurs who, it's hard to get on the show. The application process is not easy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people auditioning it, obviously. Yeah. Everybody's got an idea. They have an invention.
The 6 people you see, there's 600,000 that didn't make it.
Wow.
And they keep reapplying. And
it's a numbers game. Eventually, they think they get in the door.
Yeah, and you got to make a video to and
so like an audition tape.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Just like any other show, The Voice, American Idol, anything else.
Yeah.
You got to send in a video, and they got to go through all of those. And I don't know if they use AI now to do it, but it's a process. So when you get on the show, it doesn't get easier just because you made it on the show.
Yeah,
a lot of people can't talk to 4 or 5 total strangers, no matter how much you know your product, and then when you babble. And they cut you off and you lose your train of thought.
And that's the pitch game there.
Yeah. Then know your dog and pony, when you get on that, when you step on that X, know your game. So
that goes back to the pitch man or pitch woman idea. Yeah. If somebody's listening here and they're like, oh, I have an invention. Is it good to be the person who's the inventor and then maybe find somebody who's got the personality to pitch that for you and just partner up with them?
Yeah. Because sometimes the visionary doesn't have the personality.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times, like Billy Mays was fantastic. He was
Billy Mays. Oh, he was a legend.
Yeah. The best pitchman. And I remember after he passed away, my friend Craig Hanley he would have been a great pitchman, a replacement.
Right.
But he was busy with his own businesses, and Billy Mays Jr., just didn't have the charisma.
Yeah, I didn't.
And so all these, they tried out for a lot of people. Nobody was Billy Mays.
Yeah, Billy Mays was there. He was amazing.
And so, his
Flex Seal and all that. Yeah.
Literally changed the industry.
Yeah, he did.
Like in the 80s and 90s, infomercials was a bad word, because if you're a celebrity or a brand and you did an infomercial, it's like your career died.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said this to you before. Same thing with a musician. If they wanted you to entertain us or sing for us in Las Vegas in the 80s and 90s, your career was dead.
It was it, yeah. So
now
it's where the entertainers want to die.
Yeah. Everybody wants a residency and everybody wants a product.
Yeah.
So it's flipped around.
It has flipped.
And I think during the scamdemic, my company grew 200-300%.
Because people are home.
Yeah, people are home.
Ordering stuff.
And I will call them up and I'll be like, hey, you want to do your product now?
Yeah.
You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And so, the scamdemic.
Literally a captured audience. I mean, it really was.
As bad as it was in the world, it was great for business.
Yeah.
My business at least.
Amazon went through the roof.
Yeah, Amazon went through, all the big box stores went through the roof. All the mom and pop shops died because it was
Streaming went through the roof because now you're stuck at home. What are you going to do?
Zoom was not a company that was successful.
Yeah.
And it grew. And there was a lot of companies that came and went during this pandemic, but Zoom, I mean, now they're
Zoom
still
went
around.
through the roof.
And now it's a verb.
Yeah.
No,
it is. It's actually like calling something a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
That's a brand.
Yeah.
But it's a bandage.
Yeah.
And then Zoom has become now a Zoom.
Go Xerox this for me.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. I mean, I think when your product becomes a verb, you've absolutely made it.
Yeah.
Maybe not in money, but you've made it.
Yeah. Like anything else.
Yeah. So no, that's why I love America, because anyone can wake up with an idea and do it.
Just got to get out there and do it.
And if you don't do it with me, you can do it on your own. You don't need me. I'm just a cost factor with experience. But I'll have a conversation with anybody. If you go on my website, I always say this: you take me to lunch or dinner, I'll give you those 90 minutes of free talk. We'll become friends. But if I can't help you in 90 minutes, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And that costs you nothing but that dinner. And I'm a cheap date.
Yeah.
I don't need, fancy white linen.
Well, I'm going to get you that Guinness.
There you go.
I'm going to share that Guinness with you.
There you go.
So, yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I mean, you give people a chance. And sometimes that goes back to that last part of that quote that I started the show with. And that is, opportunity is something that people overlook.
Yeah.
I mean, because the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
You're just overlooking it. I love that line.
Yeah. And not everybody has to be a big brand. Like Etsy.com is a great vehicle.
Right.
For the mom who has a craft that she does at home.
Right.
Paper flowers, whatever.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. There's an audience for it.
Yeah.
If you can get it in front of one person, you can get it in front of 100 people, then 1,000 people. Yeah. The internet has made us all equal. Some of us are just better at it than others.
That's it. It's the amount of work you put in, and it's seeing further ahead and having a little bit of imagination.
Yeah.
And then just believe it in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I always get shit when I say this. I think OnlyFans is one of the greatest platforms in the world.
You're not the first one to tell me that.
And
it really
and
is.
I say that because it humanized something we all have.
Right.
It started out as something else, but it became a sex portal,
right.
which is okay because we're all human beings. And if you like to look at people's feet and that's your thing, $29.95 a month. If you like to watch an obese person overeat, that's your thing.
Yeah.
You do
There's something for somebody.
Always. And
something
I say that,
for everybody.
And that's why I love OnlyFans. Not for the good, bad, or indifferent. It's because it makes us all equal.
It does.
Like you find your niche and you put it out there, and somebody that likes your niche, they're like, oh my God. Yeah. I'm not an OnlyFans consumer, but I like looking at what's out there. I run AI.
Well, you look at the model.
Yeah.
You just look at the model.
And I'm just like, what works? Because OnlyFans is now changing again.
Right.
For experts like myself to have a page to talk about what we're doing.
That's great.
So it's become like a podcast for one.
Sure.
Where I can, do this. And school, SKOOL.com is another one.
Yes. I know that one.
Yeah. And, everyone tells me I should do a school page. And I'm just like, one, do I have the time? Two, I never think I'm the right person.
Right.
I think that's what keeps me humble because I don't know. You have to ask me a question for me to answer it.
You're not a guy who likes to do videos. That I learned about you. I think you said that.
Yeah.
You're not one that likes to make videos.
Yeah, I don't like to make it for myself. Like, I'll do this.
Exactly. No. Yeah, but you don't like to make it for yourself.
Yeah, no. I don't take pictures.
Yeah.
My best friend, God bless him, Paul Tuivai, he introduced me to the entertainment business.
Right.
And I was doing a project for Universal Motown 26, 7 years ago. And he was an executive vice president in Universal Motown.
Right.
Biggest human being I've ever known personally. 475 pounds, 6'5", Tongan, Pacific Islander. And he always tried to get my attention. I walked by his office every day I came to Santa Monica. And when I flew in from Maine. And I did give him 2 seconds of my time.
Wow.
Because I was in...
Sure.
Someone paid me to make a product, and they paid me well. So my job was done. And I was leaving at like 2:00 in the morning because entertainers or celebrities like to work dark 30.
Right, of course.
They think they're most creative when the sun is down.
Yeah.
Not me. I like my sleep. I do. And he was like, hold the elevator. And I see this big man running at me. And I'm trying to close the elevator door and it wouldn't close. And he gets on it. And as a Buddhist, everything happens the way it's supposed to. And he was like, hey, my name is Big Paul. I've heard a lot about you. And I'm like, yeah, you are Big Paul.
Big Paul.
There's 475.
That's a
6'5".
big boy. That's a big
and
boy.
he was my brother from another mother. You know that saying?
Wow.
And I learned a lot from him and vice versa. He worked in an industry that made millionaires and billionaires and famous people from nothing. Like if the music industry got behind you, talented or not, you made it.
You made it. Yeah. They found a way to make you make
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And if as long as they got behind you, you were the machine.
Right.
And why do we like Taylor Swift? I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift. If my life depended on it, you put a gun to my head, you like, tell me Taylor Swift's song. Shoot me.
There's
I don't
nothing
know.
personally special, I think. I think
nothing.
she's average personally.
Average. I'm like, the only entertainer I would go out of my way for was Michael Jackson. Because
he's a standard.
Legendary, died over 10 years ago, and kids today still follow him. Like, that has got to say something.
Well, his biop was $1 billion movie.
Amazing.
It was, beat out, it's the number one biop.
Yeah. Number one. I beat out Queen.
Yeah.
Finally beat out Queen. And Queen, I didn't know anything about Queen until I watched it. Same thing with the Elvis movie. I knew nothing about Elvis until I watched the movie Elvis. Made me download his greatest hits.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't an Elvis person. But I was like, wow, he was hot as fuck. And when he was in his prime.
Yeah, back then.
And I can see why he caused
comeback,
why he caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Jurating his hips. And, but it was a different time.
Yeah.
He just didn't do that. And I was just like, wow, he's a good looking guy. And why didn't know anything about his music until I downloaded and watched the movie.
Yeah.
But the Michael biop was fantastic.
Yeah. I saw the making of it. I saw a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I was very impressed by it. I know the nephew played him, but it was, it was good. I mean, I didn't get to watch the whole movie, but I've seen so many clips and behind the scenes on it. And from a production standpoint, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love seeing the behind the scenes more than I love seeing the movie, being a producer type.
I live BTS.
So
I live behind the scenes. When I see a product on TV that, I helped put together or was a part of, I knew all the struggles that got there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could write books about it.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like when I still get, a chubby when I see a product I worked on in the retail store.
That's
I'm
great.
like, fuck, that's so
I was
good.
going to ask you that. So when you see your products that you help bring to life, do you still feel that?
I still feel excited.
Like a proud mother or father, or,
like you walk into Costco, there's a whole aisle of Ninja.
Yeah.
Not that I built Ninja. I'm not saying that, but I was a part of their history, and I love that because now they're a conglomerate. Now they, everyone knows Shark Ninja, and everybody, even till this day, they didn't realize Shark and Ninja were the same company.
That's crazy.
So
I have both.
Yeah.
Shark,
so I just
Ninja.
It is.
I mean,
it is what it is. I'm just a spoke in the wheel.
Yeah.
I did my job. I collect my check and I walked off. I get no claim to fame on it. I can talk about it.
Right.
But other than that, it's not mine.
Yeah.
But when I launch Earnva and then Fordham, my company will be bigger than Groupon when it comes to rewards and incentives.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I found
that was the most intriguing thing. When you pulled that out that day when you and I met, that intrigued me. In fact, I talked about a number of people. You got to see this thing that he's coming out with. So I'm certainly going to be a consumer of that.
Yeah. No,
beyond from the first story you told me and now with all the stuff we talked about, it makes me want it even more.
Yeah. I mean,
to see how it works. And
because of AI, I've learned a lot more about historical companies before me. Like Groupon at its highest high had only 600,000 merchants. I have 3 million.
Wow. That's crazy.
I haven't launched yet. So my goal is to sell to an Apple, to a Meta, to an Alphabet. I'm not in it for the long run. I told you earlier, I'm 0 to 60.
Yeah, and then you sell it off.
Yeah. Hello.
And you've done that. I know you've sold off companies before.
And I'm all about that.
That's it. Time to move on to the next thing.
Earnva, Fordham, 24/7 First Care, and Complete RX will be Android RX soon. Will make me a billionaire. Not my goal. That's just a destination.
Sure.
I've never woke up any morning to ever say, oh, I want to be a billionaire. How do I get there? Yeah. No, that's going to happen on its own.
Just happens on its own.
Yeah, and nobody needs $1 billion. And I love billionaires. I have billionaire friends.
Yeah.
They didn't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be a billionaire. It just happened because of what they built.
Yeah, and it just accumulates to that point.
And people want to love and hate Elon Musk for being the first trillionaire. I'm like, he doesn't have $1 trillion in the bank.
Yeah.
It's just his net value.
It's just, exactly. And people, but that's what the media spins it at.
Yeah, and that's the spin. Exactly.
They think he's got $1 million. He thinks he has $1 trillion.
Yeah, he can solve
in his own bank vault. And
if he did that, he would if he sold off everything he owned, it would destroy the world economy.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. It's just paper money when it comes to a certain point.
Sure.
Like Gavin Newsom wanted to tax these billionaires and rich people, the top 10% of California, which is people that make $150,000 and up.
Right.
$150,000 in California, not a lot of money. So he didn't think that through. So he's backtracking now.
Yeah.
So he wanted to make it sound right. So he should have said the top 1%. And because top 10% is 150,000 and up.
Right.
And I mean, it was time to leave when I left a year ago. And I saw the writing on the wall, and that guy's never going to change. And when he says confidently, I've created the fourth largest economy in the world. No, motherfucker,
you did not.
You did not.
No,
you
did
had
not.
zero part of
Yeah.
that. It was handed to you, and you're killing it.
Yeah.
When the Apples of the world and Meta leave California, you're done. You're absolutely done.
Well, I think Paramount Warner Brothers
Yeah.
was looking to leave.
Yeah, and Chevron left. That's not a small company. And when he said goodbye, because that private phone call was recorded by the Chevron executive,
Right.
and he played it, I was like, wow, the guy didn't even try to stop him from leaving. And that just tells you his arrogance. And I hope, whatever is coming to him comes to him. And if, I'm not saying this for a political pitch, but he cannot be president. He cannot be president of the United States.
Yeah.
Because I love California. I still love California. I go there.
It's beautiful. I love visiting it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I can't live there anymore.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of family and friends there.
Yeah.
My husband's family is there, who I talk to every day. When I go there once a couple of days every month, we go to dinner. And the food in California is second to none.
It's great.
It's the best.
It's fantastic.
The people are great. Yeah. It's just I can't deal with the fake taxes.
It's the taxes, the politics,
and no one's held responsible for anything.
Yeah.
That has an office. Like, are you serious? And I'm the bad guy. Because I speak my truth. That's all I can do.
And that's what. And you are certainly somebody who speaks everything from his heart, and you do give a lot of valuable information. People just need to listen to people like yourself. Get inspired, add something to their own personal vault, which is, trust yourself, trust your ideas, be passionate about it, right? And don't give up, and look for those opportunities.
And I always tell people, I'm like, there's so much noise out there.
Yeah.
And I say this, and I said it in my Substack, don't listen to your friends and family when it comes to a product. They're going to love you. Yeah,
that's the worst audience.
Even 36 years of doing this, I call people that do not like me. Hey, what do you think about this product? Because I want to hear what they have to say, because one, them liking me doesn't come into the factor.
Right.
Because they don't like me. And I call them purposely just to, I poke the
bear. Because if you get the person who doesn't like you to like something you're doing.
100%.
I mean, it's easy to have a family member.
Yeah.
I mean, most fathers or mothers or brothers and sisters, they'll go, oh, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. They're not going to tell you, well, behind closed, well, it really sucks.
Yeah, that's why people hated Simon Cowell on American Idol.
Right.
And the people that hated him the most were the grandmothers and mothers. Like, he did an interview once. He goes, the people I'm scared of is not the person that just buzzed, is the grandmother or the mother that brought them to the show, because they love their son or their daughter or their grandchild. They love them. They're so fantastically talented.
Of course.
But they're horrible. And I love him for that, because that's why he was my favorite judge.
Right.
Because he has the air to know that you can make it or not make it.
Yeah.
And
it's like you are with products.
He has a talent.
He has a talent for that product, which is listening to music. Like, you have a talent for inventions and ideas to see if it's going to be marketable.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the same way. He's listening to, can I market that voice? Can I market it?
Yeah, and going back to, everyone could be their own business owner. Like Etsy and so many other platforms out there could take any, like my niece, I love her to death. She's a stay-at-home mom of 3 kids. She makes cakes.
Right.
And she sells them on Etsy and other places. And she makes good money doing it, because people need a decorative cake or whatever it is.
Right.
And they find her on that, and they're like, wow, I love this, and the price is right, and this and that. And I've seen people on there that make like little ribbons, and I look at their sales number, I'm like, holy shit. They sold 10,000 of these fucking things.
Yeah.
No, but I love that for them.
Yeah. That's great.
Because I love true entrepreneurship. Like, these platforms are created. And I always say, I wish I came up with that idea. Like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. I wish I came up with that idea. I wish I came up with OnlyFans. Because not because it would make more money. It's just, I love the entrepreneurship. That is all it comes down to.
That's it.
Is that you have
the thrill of the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that part about it, and all these platforms, all these things out there. But social media has made us all equal. It's who's going to push it farther.
Yeah, it's who's going to take advantage of it.
Like all these influencers, people hate influencers, but they're self-made.
Yeah.
They got in front of a camera, they did their thing, they, whatever their stick is.
Yeah.
They owned it. And, granted, it's a lot easier to be an influencer when you're cute.
Sure.
We're all human.
Yeah.
Let me pay attention. What does this person have to say? Because it's a good looking person.
Yeah.
And
it goes hand in hand, like you said, with the products and Shark Tank. You can be a good looking person, but if your information you're giving is horrible, that good looks only lasts so far.
100%.
And the other side of the way around it, if you have some great information, but you're horrible on camera, it's not your information is not going to be listened to. So you got to have a little bit of balance.
Yeah, you got to have some substance.
You got to have something. Yeah.
It's got to be something there.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I always go, like, people always want me to do a school or, you know, that's why I got into Substack, because I can comment on anybody's product.
Right.
Take it from my word or down. It doesn't matter. But I love reading people's stuff because I love reading, for one. And I randomly follow people, read their stuff. I'm like, and I always comment. You know, I don't just heart. I don't just like it. I always have to say something.
Yeah.
And
people appreciate those comments.
They do.
Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
It's
just my point of view.
I appreciate comments when I get comments on things, because even if it's not a good comment, I take it in. Okay, how can I change this person's mind? What can I do to say something a little bit differently? And so, comments are important. And I comment on a lot of other people's stuff all the time. Yeah. And sometimes they'll hit like, and sometimes they'll come back with something else to go against the comment. And I'll go back with them. And then we find a median ground. You know, I mean, I have no problem doing that. And I think that's important.
Now, my team always says, because I'm always launching products, and they're like, Eddie, stop reading the comments. Because I have an alias. I won't say who the alias is, but I always have to comment back. And because I like to see what people are saying about any product I'm talking about.
Right.
You know, I'm like, this motherfucker just doesn't get it. So I switch accounts and I go in as my alias and I comment.
There you go. What product do you have now?
So
what is this?
Yeah, so
this is the newest product.
These are
for those of you listening.
So this is the Armeeez. So this is a product that's patented. It's an arm sling. So basically, you put your arms in it. It's made for traveling. You put your arms in it like this, and it pulls your arms together. So this is a large one. Pulls your arms together, and then what it does is it releases the tension from your neck, back, and upper shoulder. And when you're on a plane, and it holds your arm together so you're not fighting the armrest.
I like that idea, because I fly. Yeah. I'm flying this week, and so that would be something to keep.
I fly with it not because I own the product, because it works.
Sure.
You know, like I see people with neck pillows. Most people wear them backwards. Like they don't realize that the opening is supposed to be in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw that.
You know, and it's funny, and I just flew back from Idaho and I was wearing this, and I never know what to call them. The flight attendant, the stewardess.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, what is that?" And they mentioned, she was like, and I let her try. She goes, "This is fantastic." So I'm presently working with Delta and Emirates right now. And even
I'm flying Delta this week.
Oh yeah. And I'm trying to make a deal with them because for them to white label Armeeez. And I think for the price, it takes your coach seat and makes it a first class, because you leave rested, not wrecked, which is my tagline: arrive rested, not wrecked.
I like it.
And it's true, because first, I didn't need this product as a traveler, because I fall asleep like this on a plane, in a bus. Someone's driving me in an Uber.
That's it. You're out.
I fall asleep because
I'm
not. I don't have to be in control. It says in my Uber account, "Will fall asleep, not drunk." I put it in there purposely because, and I
don't want you to think you passed out in the car.
I'm like,
thank
you, sir. I'm going to take a nap.
Exactly.
Especially if it's an hour drive.
Sure.
I love rest. I love napping because it gives me the energy to do this.
Sure.
And napping is not a bad thing. So, so Armeeez, we just launched it. It's starting to pick up in sales. We haven't put any media behind it yet. Just my personal post and my team's post. But when we start turning on the media machine, then you'll see it.
You'll start seeing
I'm just waiting for like a Delta or someone else to come to the table.
I like it.
Yeah, so it works, and I left you a bunch of them.
Oh, thank you.
For you and your team.
I appreciate that.
So this is a product that I made a while ago.
The Comfeet.
Yeah, I'm launching it this year.
Okay.
I have some friends that we came up with this idea together. So it folds into a pillow, as you can see, and unlike Snuggie was a blanket with arms. This is a blanket with legs. So it unfolds and you put your legs into it. And when you wear it, you're wearing like pajama bottoms, and you got your pocket right here. So you put your snacks in.
Oh, look at that,
and your remote control.
I love it.
And your phone.
Nothing falls down.
While
Everything's
you're lounging,
in there.
and you put your legs into it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a fun product. It tested much better than Snuggie.
Wow.
Snuggie worked in its day. I think this is truly utilitarian.
This is the next generation.
Yeah.
Basically.
So what I've learned with this, I have a friend, Robert, who's a doctor. He helps people rehabilitate to walk again.
Right.
So he takes people from a wheelchair to walking. And so I went to go visit him one day just to give him my new product, because I love giving away stuff.
Sure.
So I give him a bunch of them. He goes, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a blanket with legs." And first thing he says to me, he goes, "You know what you made?" I'm like, "No idea." I'm like, a fun novelty product. I don't think I'm not curing cancer by any means. He goes, "Eddie, do you understand every person in a wheelchair covers their legs with a blanket?" I was like, yeah, but I thought that was so they didn't want people to look at their legs. That was truly my reason.
Sure.
He goes, no, it's for circulation to keep the heat in so the blood flows. I didn't know that.
Okay.
So this, when you put your legs in, you're fully covered from back and front, and you're sitting on an ass panel that doesn't make it slip out. So your legs are truly covered. So if you have poor
Interesting.
circulation in your legs, this actually helps. If you're lounging a lot with your bear when you're laying on the bed, this helps elderly, helps people in a wheelchair. So those are things that I got certified, which I didn't know when I was
That's
making
interesting.
it.
Look
So
at
those
that.
are things I learned.
Yeah.
Just like with Armeeez, I didn't know that it would help people with autism. Like I truly didn't know what autism was.
Right.
And people with motor diversity with the shakes and so because this feels like a hug when you're wearing it, it pulls your arms together, so it truly feels like a hug. And so
Yeah, interesting because you're sitting there. Yeah, I would definitely feel.
yeah,
If
so it
something's
feels
holding my arms
it's
up,
comforting.
I can probably sleep better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's comforting. It holds your arms together, and you fall asleep easier because when you get off, you don't have all that tension.
That tension,
and you do
yeah.
have tension in your upper body when you leave a plane.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I know that. I've flown enough to know that.
we made this
Yeah.
just a year ago. We went to market about 8 months ago, and it's patented, it's certified with autism and motor diversity. All of it's on the website. I love it because it's helping more than just travelers. Like people, like my team wears it when
Right.
my team. So when you mentioned earlier, Island City Media,
Yes.
we're the largest AAPI media company in the country.
Right.
And so we travel to a lot of Polynesian music festivals. We produce and we record, we interview the artists and stuff. And my team is all Polynesian, so they're bigger. And we have a lot of equipment. So sometimes a lot of times, if we can drive there, we drive as a team.
Sure.
And they all wear, I have pictures of them
They
all.
all have that, huh?
Yeah, they wear it and they fall asleep because it
That's
is comforting, and even I catch myself, like I sit on the couch and I put it on Netflix. I don't even finish a movie because I fell asleep
Yeah.
because all that tension is gone. It helps you relax.
I look forward to using it.
Yeah. And
I'm going to try it out.
Yeah. And it definitely
try it
makes you
out.
feel like you're hugging.
Well, I'm going to take it on the plane with me. For
Yeah.
sure.
No, I want you to.
Yeah. And I'll let you know
And
how
I
that
think you're a
works.
medium, not a large.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So, and that's the last thing that we're trying to figure out, like how to measure yourself. Because a lot of the problems that we had first on was people were buying the wrong size, so they were returning it.
Got it.
Not because they didn't like it.
It's just that it's the wrong
Yeah.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, they were ordering the wrong size. And so a lot of people fold their arms like this
Yes.
or like this
Yes.
or so many different ways. So there's too many variables for me to figure out, so AI told me to measure from outside of your shoulders
Okay.
because your shoulders don't change.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, that makes sense. So we're testing that now because that's the reason why I haven't paid for media yet, because I want to work on all the
You're just
bugs.
refining it. At this
Yeah,
point.
so like you see this is a rectangle.
Yes.
So the new one, when we go to market, will be 4 inches taller, and the top will be
More like a V.
will be tapered inwards,
Okay.
because then it's tighter up here, and you have more room inside for your elbow.
Makes sense.
So really pulling you in. And I learned all that by giving them away and selling the.
Or getting feedback.
Yeah. So that's part of my process. Is I'm always, when I start a new campaign, you want to be my friend because you'll get something for free. You know what I mean? Because all I ask is just tell me your honest.
Yeah. Give me your opinion.
And
yeah.
that's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be the next neck pillow, because everyone in the world knows what a neck pillow is.
Absolutely.
And so once I get this out there and I commercialize it, everyone's going to know what Armeeez is.
Well, I'm looking forward to using
Yeah.
it. Looking forward to giving you some
thank
feedback
you.
on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I
Thanks.
think it will work. I mean, especially,
Yeah.
I just signed up with a chiropractic center, and, I gave it to the chiropractor who adjusted me, and I gave him one of my products because I like to give shit away. And he was like, Eddie, this is fantastic. He gave it to me on the doctor's side. Like, why?
Right.
And he's like, can I do this as an affiliate? I'm like, of course. So that was not an angle I looked at. So I'm always learning,
Yeah.
because I'm never afraid to, present something or to ask something, because I'm never afraid. Like if you say no, you say no.
That's it.
I can deal with that.
Yeah.
But I'm never the victim.
That's great. Eddie, thank you. I mean, there's a lot of inspiration. If you've all been listening to the show or watching it, watch it more than once, listen more than once. A lot of good information here that Eddie has really put out about living through and building your dream, working with an idea, sharing your ideas, and being open to feedback. And Eddie, I appreciate it very much.
No, thank you.
I've learned a ton.
Yeah.
I always love talking to
Yeah.
you.
I love this vault. I
yeah.
love it.
Being in the vault. We're all going to have that Guinness together one day.
that.
I'm going to get together with you on that, especially when I get back from New York. But thank you again. It's incredible. I'm looking forward to using both products, tell you how they go. And maybe I'll invent something someday.
I love that. You know,
I'll land on your doorstep.
yeah, I just need to pick your brain and get it
That's
out of your head.
There you go.
You know, so
Thanks,
thank you.
Eddie. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time
Thank
on
you all.
Kickback.